I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, good morning. We are here at our commissioner meeting. Today is Thursday, January 15th. Meeting is earlier this week because Monday is a holiday. So welcome for being here. First on the agenda, we have Craig with maintenance.
Morning. Don't have much for you today. I'm bringing back in here the quote for the upgrade for the automation system here at the annex building. I did call him yesterday and have him add an additional day for the cable pull. It's if we use an extra day, we'll get charged for it. If we don't, we won't get charged for it. Total cost for the upgrade here is $5,033.
Repeat that again, please.
$5,033.
And that's got the extra day included in
It's
it?
got the extra day. The original price was $3,926, not to exceed that amount.
And these are the only people who could do this, right?
They're the ones that control our automation
Okay,
system right
okay.
now. They're actually cheapest ones out
Okay.
there.
Yeah, we quoted that earlier last year, I believe, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got to do it, we got to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I make a motion to,
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can I get a quick signature on this?
Yes, sir.
Just anywhere at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, put Albert John Hancock's on there.
I reached out to Kramer last week. They still got about 2 to 3 months left of work on the tower, as long as weather's permitting. Kramer is reaching out to a couple of painting contractors that they work with and getting a price gathered up, or have them come down and look at it to get us a price on it. The clock tower, not the clock tower, sorry, the clock people, they're estimating the equipment to arrive possibly around April.
So can you start wiring it yet?
We can't wire anything until we get the boxes and equipment, because we've got to mount that also.
Okay,
The only thing I think they're really putting in place is their strikers.
okay.
So, let's see, January, February, March, April. I mean, on a worst-case scenario, we might just have to work with Kramer, depending on what the weather is, to see how much longer the scaffolding can sit there.
I thought they had a closer timeline than April to be working on this clock.
I thought so too when we originally talked about it, that the stuff was going to get ordered and we'd be talking about January.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've done anything to delay it, except for maybe that week or two when we were deciding on who's doing the electric. Because we are subcontracting electric out, right?
Right, but
Yes.
that didn't have anything to do with them.
Yeah.
They was prolonged in coming here measuring things out, right?
As far as I understand, yes.
Yeah.
It
That
took
makes-
them a little longer to get here. I don't know if anybody's received any paperwork, because the last time I talked to them, they're supposed to send paperwork to be signed. I haven't seen it. I don't know if Jeff's seen it or Amy's seen it. But then when I reached back out to them, they said,
Didn't we get something in the beginning or something, a contract to sign?
We've already paid them something for that come and look. They sent, was
Yes.
sent an
Yeah.
email to you, and then
then
you
you-
told them to send it to Amy.
Yeah.
And then I've never heard anything from them. I haven't been involved in any of that.
I haven't heard any more since.
So they're literally, that's them waiting on the equipment.
pretty much, yes, they're making the equipment right now, and it won't be done until April.
Wonder if it's possible if they can at least do the, if we get in a hurry to do the hands. Obviously, we need to get it painted first before we even do that, so, if Kramer, if we subcontract the painting with Kramer, then we
Yeah.
should be able to maybe stall it a little bit more for the
Right.
better weather anyway.
My main concern is getting the hands changed before the scaffolding goes down.
Yes, yes,
So they don't have to remove the glass.
yes.
Because they stated if it breaks, it's our baby.
Yeah.
It'll break.
Yeah.
So where are they out of,
Who's that?
the clock people?
I think Ohio.
Cincinnati.
I thought.
Okay, Cynthia.
I mean, they know about they know the scaffolding's up, and so what are they not, they concerned about trying to do this with no scaffolding?
Excuse me.
No, they said they'll be removing a section of glass from the inside from the conversation I went back and listened to on the recordings.
Right. But if it breaks, we have to pay for it.
Yeah, I understand that,
Yeah.
but did we tell them we would have scaffolding up?
Yes, you
Yes,
guys
we-
did inform me scaffolding would be up,
Yeah.
and their response was, we don't have to have scaffolding to replace.
So we need to evaluate if we're going to pay, if we have to pay to keep scaffolding up, what we might think the cost of the piece of glass is, and might be better off just go ahead and go that route. I don't know, but
Well, if you get the painting, the scaffolding will be there anyways, if it goes through Kramer. You just probably have to have additional cost, a rental fee for the scaffolding.
it's hard to tell what that'll be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it could be thousands of dollars. Yeah, all right, we'll look at it when it gets a little closer, I guess.
Other than that, that's about all I have for you.
Do you have that person's number
For the
for the
bell?
clock, for the clock?
Clock? Yep, I can,
I'll get
It's
it
in the
later, because I'm gonna
emails,
make a
too.
phone call.
if you got your email, his number's in there too.
Yeah, but might have, it's way back.
Yeah,
So
I can look
it'd be
it back
easier
up.
just for me to call,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, we just need to be reassured that the timing's gonna work out well with the scaffolding being here.
Yeah, Lee?
Is there any updates on the HVAC for the courthouse?
NOAS is up and running at the moment, but there's still other stuff that they're waiting on DLZ to get back with Verigy.
And Verigy's not on the agenda today? Okay.
I think there'll be.
With the DOAS unit, has it been any better, Lee, that you're aware of?
I didn't know it was up. I'll go over there and talk to them today.
Okay,
The only time I've seen it drop on the graphs and everything is when everybody piles in at one time in the morning. And then they turned the thermostat up yesterday to 74, temperature got up to 74, and for what I'm seeing on the graph, it only lost a degree or two when the doors open and shut.
okay. All right. And then you can just kind of follow up with Verigy and DLZ on that, but just continue to watch it, see if it's resolving itself, or make sure that that unit still works.
Will be here today. It was kind of I don't know if it was something with the programs on the train unit itself, but train was here that Friday or Thursday for all day, pretty much writing certain programs for it to run right, and it's been pretty steady so far. This cold weather is going to be the actual test for it.
Okay. All right, well, we will continue to evaluate that. Any other questions for Craig in maintenance?
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jail maintenance? Thanks for the write-up
Morning.
last week, or last meeting. I know you weren't able to make the meeting, but the information was good that you sent us.
You're very welcome. Couple things for you on this one here. We talked on the other day about the flushometers and urinal flush valves. This here's a breakdown of those, and then the parts to repair the other ones inside the jail. I got with Wind Supply out of Madison. They are going to be the most competitive prices across the board. They're also guaranteeing everything to fit, so if anything is wrong within a year, I can just take it back to them, no question asked, they'll replace it for me. The final price of that will be $4,990.50. This here will replace a total of, I apologize, 12 of the toilet flusher meters and 3 urinal valves, and then it'll repair 10 of them, 10 additional, I should say. And then on that, that's the only thing on the plumbing side that I have for you guys right now.
Okay. And this can come out of the jail maintenance fund. I believe there was $100,000 appropriated for that.
What was the total amount again?
Flip your page.
$4,990.50.
It's front to back.
Oh, okay. Didn't look on the back, sorry.
I saw him flip his over.
Do we
I
need to approve
apologize.
this for him then?
Yeah, I think we just need to make a motion to approve to make the purchase of $4,990.50 out of the jail maintenance fund.
I will
when-
make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Last meeting, I sent you guys an email about the roof, some of the items that I found during the inspection. Blackmore Buckner did come back out. They repaired the fiber optic cable that they screwed to the top of the coping. They mounted it back to the side of the wall like it was, and then they repaired and replaced the coping that was damaged by the screwing of it. They also patched the last 4 items up there that was circled by the inspector. They came out and fixed that. So as of right now, I believe they are completed up on the roof. So that is finally finished. And then we'll start doing the monthly cleaning and inspection on that to keep a log on it to keep up with the warranty that's provided by the other company.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Any other questions regarding jail maintenance?
No.
All right.
Thank you, appreciate
you.
it. Sheriff's Department?
It's not really jail maintenance, but on the note of the jail, they're, January 26th, they're scheduled to start the installation of the new security system over there. It's looking like a 3 to 4 week project for the camera installation, and then there'll be some additional time after that for like the software and the stuff in the control center. But they're moving along with that, moving along well with that. I'd also add that Mike has been working on kind of building relationships with other maintenance maintainers at other jails. For example, down in Jefferson County, he's working with them. That's how he found out about that company that's locally sourced and stuff like that. So, and he's out working on doing a tour with them too to go through their old jail, see if there's anything that can be salvaged from their old jail that can be used here too. So, I just want to highlight, you know, he's built relationships that are going to help save the county money as well.
Good, thank you.
The only thing that I have for you is, back when the renovation to the courthouse was done, there were some signs taken off of that west entrance door that said, I think it said like not a public entrance, not a public exit, alarms will sound. They were just like homemade janky ones and they were taken down. The problem is since the renovations, we've seen a significant increase in people trying to use that door to exit, which is causing kind of a security concern.
And this is exit the building, not enter the building, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The west entrance or the west doors are exit only by employees. You have to have a swipe thing or it's going to set the alarm off.
Yes.
We already have problems even with employees going in and out of there because the alarm system is old and not very reliable. So sometimes the doors and the locking mechanism, the old wooden doors, it doesn't catch. So we'd like to get some new signage put up in there. I wanted to talk to you guys about it though, because I know there was kind of some, you wanted to be kind of particular about the signage that goes up in there. Are you okay with us getting signs? And if so, what was who was the sign company that you used before?
Yeah, I think they just need to match, with Craig, and so just as long as they match all their other signs. I guess maybe that one got missed, I don't know, I mean.
It might have been because when we bought the
Yeah.
signs, it was already taken down, so we didn't see it there, but I would like to keep everything consistent.
Yeah.
I believe it was green signs out of Greensburg
Okay.
that did it, and then you can get with Craig. As long as it matches and it's, looks appropriate aesthetically,
I don't know how much those cost. Is that going to be an issue or is it something that he can
I'm
purchase without?
I don't know how much it was,
I don't
but
recall either.
I mean, I think it was like $4,000 for all the signs within the whole building, so I mean.
So to add these signs, does he need to come back and ask for approval for the purchase of that or?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
he can,
He should have enough in his
'Cause
budget
they
if
should
he,
have Braille on them as well, right?
yeah. Yeah, it should be same lettering, coloring, things like that. Does it need to go on the door or next to the door? Where do you want it at?
I think it needs to be pretty visible, so probably on the door. Like right now, the one door has the push bar and it's got like the red hash things on it, but the other door doesn't have anything. So people are trying to, but if you can't go out that door without the key. The red one, they're pushing that one in, even though it says, or it doesn't say anything, it just has the red marks on it. They're still pushing that bar open. So ideally, probably in each one of the windows, maybe a sign that says "Not a public exit," alarms will sound, or something to that
I
effect.
don't know if we actually have to, I wonder if we just got some decals and put it on the glass. Is there enough?
Yeah,
room
so the
there?
signage that you guys did, the standardized signage is more, I think, wall mounted
Yeah, that's,
stuff.
yeah.
I think something needs to go on the glass for this.
Is there glass on the bottom of the door?
No, it's just
So
at the
then you
top.
could put it on the wood part, I guess,
Yeah,
because they're looking down at the handle.
I don't think there is. Don't quote me on
Okay.
that. I'd have to.
I'm not thinking there is.
Actually, I
Craig,
could look.
we'll bring it up to Craig to give us some options and
yeah,
some
just give it
ideas
that,
on
whatever makes sense. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I can answer your question real quick.
Because I'm not, we don't have to buy an additional sign to stick on the door. That's going to look silly. But
what was, we had something else put on the glass, didn't we?
I thought on the exterior, I thought we put some lettering on there that said like employees only or something.
Okay, so it's wood on the bottom.
Yeah, but we could also just put something,
It-
like
the
some
thing
black
is, you just
lettering,
gotta-
some black decals on that glass.
But they're only this big.
Yeah, the glass is kind of small. It's probably not a bad idea to put it right below, like maybe have a long one.
You're looking
Long,
at-
long and thin, right underneath the push bar, mount it right to the wood on the door.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be the best
and
case.
something that catches the eye too.
Yeah, so it may not be go with our standard sign
Right.
colors. It probably should be something really that, a color that would pull it in.
Bright
Maybe,
yellow or something?
Like a safety color of some
Right.
sort. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Craig to work on that.
Okay, perfect. That's all I've got for you.
Leases. They're leased vehicles. He was wanting to remind you of that.
At some point, do we have all the cars?
Yes,
We have everything?
yes. All of the ones from 25,
Yeah,
yes.
and
There's
then-
2 more ordered for 26 now.
Okay. I know we talked about last year on kind of evaluating it to see how much money was coming in, how much money was going out once we got everything.
Yeah,
I know Enterprise, when we did that agreement, said they would come in anytime to kind of like go over those numbers with us. When would be an appropriate time?
I can work with them to schedule something. I had put together the numbers towards the end of last year, but I didn't really want to report on it until the year was up and it was all said and done. So I could probably schedule something for February, March for them to come with
Okay.
us to this meeting.
Yeah, let's do that in February or March, just kind of have them come in so we can kind of reevaluate like how much money we're spending. I mean, that was a commitment that I think previous commissioners even made to council that we needed to
Yeah, yeah.
follow up on it.
I got a question. On the leasing, how do they determine when to trade in?
So
The miles or the hours?
it's a combination of stuff. They use algorithms to track all of our maintenance on them, like the maintenance costs, fuel mileage, the mileage on the vehicle itself. And so they've got algorithms that say, all right, at this point, you're going to get the most you're going to get the most out of the equity of this vehicle. It's typically averages around 80,000 miles.
Okay.
That's kind of the average, but like if you have, let's say we bought 11 Durangos for the road last year. If you've got 11 of them and one of them seems to be causing more problems for maintenance than the others, that one they may say, hey, look, at 60,000, we probably need to look at,
Right. Okay. Well, reason I'm asking, because I know they got a lot of idle time on them. So,
one of the vehicles has a lot of idle time. Like right now with the temperatures, anytime it gets below zero or below freezing, we allow them to keep them running if they're not going to be there for an extended period of time. So if they come in here and they're going to be in the office for 30 minutes,
confirm extended amount of time.
30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
The problem with the police vehicles is every time you shut them off, all the systems go offline. So there's multiple systems within that vehicle that it takes time for those systems to come back up. So if we leave in a hurry to an emergent call, then they're going to be behind the curve on that. The one vehicle that has the most idle time is the K-9 vehicle. It has to stay running the whole shift. The rest of them, I keep pretty close tabs on.
Is there a way to
sure
put another battery in there to keep the stuff up?
They already have 2 batteries. It's not enough.
We can put 3.
There's no.
I
way
mean,
to
my
do it.
diesel truck has 2, so.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, because the way those network systems, like, if you're going to be down for, say, 15 minutes, I think it is, I'd have to go back and look at what the programming on them is.
Sounds like
I
we-
agree with 15 minutes or so, but not 2 hours.
Sounds like we need to move all the
Most of them
vehicles
shouldn't be
over to
running for 2
Toyota
hours,
Tundra
unless it's below
hybrids.
0 like this. I will say that, from working third shift, when the temperatures get down significantly low and stuff, and you're the only vehicle out, we can shut them off, but it's going to extend those response times by 15 minutes to get that vehicle up and warmed up again. That's where the concern
Well,
is.
maybe what I seen last night was a shift change, but there was 4 vehicles running plus 2 not, so.
Yeah, yesterday was shift
6
change.
officers here, so.
Yeah, yesterday was,
That's why I'm asking. I just seen it and I thought, man, all these are running. I know 2 of them is here the whole time I was here. So, and one was a K-9.
yeah,
so.
yeah, that one
I'm
has
just
to stay
asking.
running. If, I can tell you that if I catch it where they're sitting idle for too long, I get onto them and tell them to shut them off.
Okay.
My sergeant and lieutenant are both pretty diligent with that stuff too. And I have a night shift sergeant and a day shift lieutenant that are consistently
The
watching.
only reason I seen it is because I was here at a meeting for over 2
Yeah.
hours and I know what I seen when I walked in, who was running. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Like I said, is it going to happen from time to time?
Yeah.
Like with anything else, yes, but we are diligent about making sure that we're
Gotcha.
reminding them to shut those things off. And a lot, it also happens, they come up to do something and they get stuck up here working on, a call comes in and it's something that they handle over the phone, so they're there longer than they anticipated.
Yeah.
But,
I know I brought this up before about putting decals on the vehicles at Ripley County. And I know 2 of them don't, plus the sheriff. And my opinion, they ought to be identified, at least say Ripley County on them.
so the sheriff's vehicle, he's working on getting decals for it right now.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he sent off requests for quotes yesterday on his vehicle.
Great.
The 2 white vehicles that we have, I mean, we could potentially put Ripley County on them, but
That's-
I wouldn't identify them as police vehicles.
That's all I'm asking, so people know it's at least a county vehicle.
Yeah,
So that's all I'm asking.
yeah. So they have county plates on them. I don't know if that's, are you talking, you want it to say Ripley
On the
County
door.
specific?
Just
So
like-
who drives those vehicles? What
Jail
does-
commander and the matron.
Yeah.
Both vehicles are equipped for like tertiary, they're backup vehicles for us, so they can be used as police vehicles, unmarked police vehicles. So they're equipped for that in the event that our vehicles are down. We are permitted by state law to have a certain percentage of the vehicles unmarked for different purposes, whether it be admin or undercover stuff and things like that.
So is there a time that you feel you need an unmarked vehicle?
Absolutely.
So those are the only 2 we have?
No, once the sheriff's is marked, mine is also unmarked.
Okay, I was just thinking maybe we could get Ripley County matron put on and Ripley County jail commander. I mean, and that way
Well,
it wouldn't just be,
that-
Would be identifying the person.
The problem with putting something like that on there is then it almost eliminates us using it for police
yeah,
purposes.
understand that, yeah.
That's why we leave them unmarked, because if you put anything on them other than like sheriff's office, it kind of eliminates the ability to now use it as a police car.
But they're equipped to be used for,
Yes. Yeah, they have lights and sirens, and one of them has a cage in it.
okay.
Yeah.
Didn't notice that the day we looked at them.
I mean, I appreciate clarifying that. I fundamentally think that if someone's owning something, if someone's driving something that is owned by the taxpayers, I think it's to do our due diligence that the taxpayers know. But I do
Yeah.
respect the idea of having the, some with nothing on it unmarked.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the other side of it is if maybe as a thought, a magnet gets thrown on it when it's being used for standard use and maybe you pull the magnet off if you're, just as a thought. I'm just throwing, I understand your purpose a lot better than I did before.
Yeah.
But,
The magnet idea is probably not a bad idea. We could do something with magnets on those 2 vehicles. Because then they could be pulled off and used.
yeah.
for police.
My vehicle is set up, I mean, you can tell it's set up for surveillance, so.
I
that's
mean,
why it's-
and us as commissioners have required anyone that works under us that has a vehicle that it's clearly identified, so. And is what it does, it shows the public that it's a county-owned vehicle and also holds us as elected officials responsible or employees
Yeah.
responsible that the appropriate things are being done with our cars. So, but if you can kind of like maybe a magnet or something, or. but
So
I
to be
mean,
clear, we're talking about the 2 white ones, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which, the clarification's really good on my part, but I think if 99% of the time it's being used for,
Yeah, that's 99% of the time, that's what
Yeah.
it's being used for.
Yeah.
but it does make sense why we're doing it that way. So
Yeah.
I want to be respectful to what you guys are doing, but
Yeah.
with a fine line of, we're supplying a car for somebody, we need to,
Yep, I completely understand.
you know.
That's all I got.
Okay.
All right, thank you,
All
Lee.
right, thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Lee. We might need to remind the coroner on that truck. I don't think it got marked either yet. I think it doesn't
So,
have
yeah,
anything
we
on
need
it.
to send I think Jason sent us an email, maybe we need to respond back to whether decals were a part of that, because yes, I do agree.
I didn't see that, so.
Yeah, I seen the email, yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
Because I think last time we were questioning what the status was, and one of the Jasons, I don't know which one, not this one, sent us an update. So, but yeah. Jason Edwards. Bring back up today?
Yes, I did.
First unofficial detour for 129 and 48 starts June 4th through the 26th. They're going to use East Mud Pike or West Mud Pike. And 200 East for unofficial detour for that stretch of time, so I just need to sign
They
off on it.
replacing a culvert or something?
Yeah, small structure on 129, right, Delaware Fire Department area. I think yeah.
A lot of work going on one of the newest roads in the whole county, you
They're
know?
working on that again?
I just need to sign off.
They just fixed the one. Wow.
All right, do we have a motion to approve this detour, official and unofficial detour for within dot?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And if the roads get tore up, they're responsible?
Absolutely.
Yep.
We're still waiting on the reimbursement from the last go-around. It should be any time, so.
So there was, if you get a chance to look, I'll point this direction, because I know he's down there. Down at the end of Benham Road there on 900, when all that was going on, it looks like they went off the edge on the far side. Maybe we can get that built back up. I know it's a pretty good drive. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. All right. Yeah, all right, thank you.
Did you meet with those people about those trees? How did any of that, remember I sent you a text
I
message
sent
Friday?
word up there, the bridge guy, and I haven't
Okay.
heard back from him. He's been off last couple of days, but
Okay.
I'll get it figured
I've
out.
never heard back from the landowner. I told them if they were unhappy
Mulberry
with
Street.
whatever. And there was a tree on Mulberry Road out of Batesville that Mulberry's ours. It's kind of silly in my opinion.
That's the one up in town?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the two that are kind of problem childs up there. But anyways, the landowner, I guess Duke was cutting a tree down. They have a pond on one side. Their concern was that the road was going to give out as soon as Duke cuts down the tree, and they wanted somebody, I think years ago, the county was able to convince Duke not to cut it down, but they needed it cut down. So they were they just wanted it on our radar that
Right.
trees gone, to be making sure that the road's not washing out, so.
Skip over to 25 East, the railroad bridge. I met with USI 2 days ago. The proposal just for the permits for this train company is $74,000, just for the permits. CSX wants to charge an extra $5,000 a day for the flagger for 60 days. The bridge is staying closed as far as I'm concerned right now, so it's just gonna be left or torn out later. 'Cause that's almost
You have to
4.
get permits to tear it out?
Still don't know whose bridge it is. I got a call, where's Terry, right? Yeah, I've got to call into CSX and emails. They will not respond to let us know if it's ours or theirs. If it's theirs, they're going to tear it out. If it's ours, I'm not going to fix it. That's $400,000 just for permits, and it's ridiculous. No, it just don't make sense. Ain't enough traffic to
Okay.
justify it. Oh, it's done with that one. All right, going to Bridge 9, which you talked to Rob Sieg last week.
Yeah, Rob Sig, just before I forget too, Jason responded to an email. We got an email from Rob Sieg about St. Nicholas was changing something on their building they're building. There's one landowner on that county road that goes behind the building, and we approved at some point for them to put sidewalks and parking in our right of way. But now they changed from a step to a ramp, and they wanted us to acknowledge that. It was in an email with some drawings on it. I think Jason responded, I'm okay with it. Do you guys have an issue with it?
No. I'll make a motion to let them do it.
Yeah, I'll second.
Can we get that, first and second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So I'll respond back to Rob Sieg and the architect. They were kind of waiting on us on their change orders, so
Okay.
got that out of the way. But in that conversation, Rob Sieg was asking me about Bridge 9, is that
Right,
what it
Cave Hill
is?
Bridge.
Bridge 9, which is the Cave Hill Bridge down here, that he was the one that was doing the survey work. He asked, like, is it the commissioners doing it, or is it the highway garage? I told him it's all going to him. So I think
I've got
that,
a-
now he's got the information.
Yeah, I got a breakdown of so far estimized stuff. The bridge company is talking 200,000 estimate on concrete work. We don't know for sure exactly. He said that's on the high side. That's to do all 4 piers. Bridge is 497,000. Rob Sieg's part is 89,400. He covers all the waterway permits, survey. He's doing it all. We don't have to touch nothing.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's subcontracting out like DNR stuff,
Right.
Like, can you
Through,
explain
Right.
to the public what those
Yes.
things are? Because it's a lot of money, and I want it to be clear
Yeah,
what
I mean-
that we're just not paying for $80,000 for a survey.
No,
Right, but that's paying for the permits.
right, that's,
Okay.
yeah, that's everything. He's going to go with, hold on,
And he did get quotes and
yep.
where he
Gotcha.
could with these people, because I kind of questioned, it was a lot of money.
Yeah, Patriot Engineering is doing the geotech surveys, and they're at 16,000. That's all included in this price. DLZ is handling all the environmental studies, so all of our waterway DNR, everything's included on their part. And then Rob is handling up surveying, land acquisition, and all the meetings with the landowners to get everything bought, taken care of. So we'll fund that to him, and then when it comes time to purchase the land, we'll pay for the land separate. Which, got that wrote down too, hold on.
Where's this funding coming from to purchase the property?
Bridge, I think,
It's coming out of
and
the
use that we talked about.
Yeah.
That'll be in the budget for next year,
Okay.
and we talked about that the other day.
So I think there's enough revenue this year coming in and a cash balance to cover all this $89,000 expenditures in the ground. Next year, depending on how much the revenue is on that fund to cover the bridge and concrete work, we might be asking council to use some of the edit funds instead, which I told Jason, we don't want to, what's budgeted this year is staying the way it is. I don't want
Right.
to change that with our commitment to what we talked about from a council standpoint, but in budget time next year, we will be talking about maybe using that funding to offset, so that way we're not blowing a hole in our bridge fund to where if something goes out, I mean, we take that down to zero, can't buy culvert, we don't want to be in that situation.
Right.
But I think we're in a good spot with chip and seal this year with how much we're doing that, if we take a little step back. So that'll be something we'll deal with budget hearings, but,
All right.
I do want to, Yeah.
Cave Hill Bridge, yes.
Yeah. yeah, and we're saving millions of dollars by doing it. I forget
Absolutely.
what the original quote was, but
It was a bunch.
it was a bunch.
The,
So now would be a good time for me to interject.
Yes.
I was at an SIRPC meeting yesterday, and I talked to Michael Grimm, which is Representative Congressman Aaron Hutchins' office.
Okay.
And they have a fund available to apply for situations just like this, because I told him exactly what we was doing, and he said to contact him, and he wanted to meet with us.
Is that federal? Because if it's federal, we're 6 years out on federal, right, Derek, for funding?
It's a
Right.
program specific, I told him,
Okay.
county, bridge, he said, contact me and let's have a cup of coffee. He said, I think I can help you out.
Yeah.
His only concern was he didn't think it was enough. It was like, I told him it was $1 million range, and he kind of grinned, and he said, well, we don't like to do much stuff under that. And he said, so we like to have the bigger number projects, but.
Okay. Yeah, I'll call him today and see if I can.
Yeah, but he
set something up.
said, and I would like to meet with him as well.
Sure.
Whenever we can get a meeting set up, I think we might be able to
Okay.
pull something off.
Yeah.
And we might even be able to, because he specifically said bridge crossings.
Okay.
That maybe that other one might be something we can pull into for that other road
Sure.
that you said, talked about. So that's an opportunity.
Where's that?
That's great. Appreciate that, Roger.
Safety equipment, crane, rental, et cetera, all the smaller stuff, it's about 28,000 is what I'm guessing. And we're figuring, Rob said about 35,000 to cover the land on both sides of the creek, which won't quite be an acre on both sides. Puts us right at 900,000 plus or minus. And that should be everything across the board, right, Tim? Is that what we figured this morning? Yeah, 900,000 across the board.
Is that cost increase too?
Yeah, it's kind of fattened up a
Gotcha.
little bit, so,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm at.
In
with that.
in your conversation with that, is that they need to understand that we're doing it ourselves, because that last one was federal money, and that's what pushed that price up
Right,
to
yeah,
12 million, going through their process. But if
Yeah.
Aaron has a infrastructure fund,
It's some type of program she has for just specifically to get money pulled from Washington and back to here, back to
Okay.
her
Okay.
district.
perfect.
So she's one of the very few congressmen,
Yeah.
people that does it.
Yep. And I've met her multiple times, so if you need to throw my name out in these conversations, or, whatever type of politicking needs to be done, that
Okay.
would be.
Yep,
It was,
I'll
I mean, there was several representatives in the meeting yesterday, and when he started talking about that, everybody started writing stuff down. So I'm confident that we could apply for that.
Okay,
Yep.
yep, I'll call him as soon as we get
But
done.
if it's federal though, we would have to,
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're bypassing some of these, I mean, obviously, we're paying for all the we're paying for all the permits and everything.
Yeah, it's
but,
self-funded,
So, yeah, just
yep.
hopefully they
worth a
can help.
try.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned the right-of-way a couple weeks ago, the old right-of-ways that we have that Dearborn County's going through right now.
Yes.
Is that what
So-
we brought up today or not?
No, I appreciate, I told him that, so there's a situation going on in Dearborn County and probably other counties to where we have old roads, so to speak, that have easements there to where there was a road base from 120 years ago, okay? Dearborn County's in a situation to where somebody buys 3 different pieces of land, somebody passes away, well, now I want to sell that back lot that was never combined into one deed. They have that back lot, so is what they're trying to do is sell it, but go through the neighbor's opposite direction through a 120-year-old road easement. So you have 2 landowners, or a landowner in between that never had a road there, hasn't been there since he owned it, and the previous owner saying, but we're cutting through your property to take advantage of this old road thing, this old road. Dearborn County stalled it because what was happening is the landowners were going to abandon the road, but there's not a road there. It's not a road, it's an old easement from 200 years ago. So it's something that they're trying to come up with a formal way of handling it. And I think we need to do the same. I don't know if we want to wait and kind of like see what they come up with. But there are so many of these old roads, if you look at a map from 150 years ago, Hopewell Road comes all the way here to Versailles. If someone says we want to do that, how many landowners are you going to impede that for someone else to make a profit off of it? So I don't know, something we need to think about. I don't think we need to react to it now. I wanted to bring it up. John, I don't know from a legality standpoint, because I know at one point in one of our meetings, we said what a county road is in Ripley County, if it's not chip and sealed or paved, it's not a road. Does that stand? Does that motion stand as we stand right now, that if somebody wants to extend that road, extend one of our roads down one of these old easements from 200 years ago,
Bear in mind, I'm saying this without researching it in detail, but typically, obviously, if it's on the county highway inventory and it's maintained, it's valid road as
Right.
is. If it's still recognized as a non-vacated right-of-way, then that right-of-way, whatever width it is, still exists, and if someone's willing to bring it up to snuff,
We
to
have-
county road standards, and there's sufficient right-of-way there, they probably have the right to do that. If it's been temporarily closed, permanently closed, or vacated, that part gets a little dicier. If it's vacated, it's gone. There's no right-of-way that exists there anymore, and typically, whoever owns, 50% on each side, or if the road happens to be all on one property owner, that just sort of reverts, that right-of-way back to the ownership of them. So that's the big question is, do we have, I'm sure we have a lot of unimproved old road beds, probably here and there, little stretches of them, things of that nature. The question is, have those been vacated? It usually takes the property owner coming in and saying, we'd like to vacate this.
to vacate, a person can vacate an easement. Can you vacate just
Well,
the easement?
Now, hold on. Easements and right-of-ways are two
The
different.
right-of-way, okay, let's call it a right-of-way, that there's no road there, but,
If somehow within our minutes and on the highway inventory, there's known or existing right-of-ways, most of which have improved roads on them, some of which may not.
Right.
If it's strictly a right-of-way that was created by virtue of the road system, or an original plat or something of that nature, then it's typically the landowner who would come in and petition to vacate that roadway. And there's a specific statute of how they go about doing it. The other option is, if it's an easement where someone has a right of ingress and egress off someone's property, but it's not been dedicated as a right-of-way to the county, that's strictly between the landowners.
yes.
Who touch one another. So you guys would never have a dog in that fight unless it's actually considered a county road right-of-way.
One thing you need to watch is if you don't landlock somebody, because I've known that happening.
Yeah. And some people access their property through an old dirt or gravel road or something
Yeah,
like
'cause
that, but it's more of a.
Because I was over here
more of a
logging
glorified
last,
Driveway.
Right.
logging last year, and there was a road in which they had to deal with it before now, to where the Ron Weber Woods was back there, and they closed the road, and he had no access to get to his property no more. And when they went to log it, they had to pay to go to a neighbor to log it. It was totally, to me, was not right to do, but they did it. I think I was around 14 years old when they did it. Closed it down. The county did.
I thought the road was open all the way just about to that piece of property there on Devil's Elbow or whatever. Block.
No, I'm over here on 129,
Okay,
where the Crum Farms are.
okay. I'm thinking of a different
Mm-hmm.
spot.
Yep. Because I cut the trees out where the old roadbed used to be last year. But it's closed. So
Well,
they landlocked the
You
property.
can do a temporary road closing, and then you can ask that it become permanent, and then, but that's just where they close it, and I suppose it could be reopened, but once it's vacated, once it goes through the vacation process,
Yeah.
it's gone unless somebody does a new survey, dedicates it right away to the county, and then paves it.
Right.
I just fear the scenario of someone has a 100-acre farm. I can think of a place in Batesville, along 74, there's an old road there and a culvert, it's an old farm road, that luckily they own both sides of it. In my opinion, they should vacate it in this situation, but you can get into some of these areas where people are buying different lots or different things of ground, and then one day and really they should combine them, because that's your egress, right? The property you buy next to the road should go to the property in the back, but it's on two different deeds, so but they're basically, instead of giving up their ground for the right-of-way, they're now deciding, well, I'm going to stick it to my neighbors in the back and go through their property, and I don't think that's right. I think that's what we need to find a way to eliminate, that you live on your farm for 100 years, or it's been in the family for 100 years, and there's never been access for the public to get to point A to point B, just because there's an old easement there. 50 years later, someone gets a bright idea to where they can profit by selling their ground, and it's easier for them. They don't have to give up their ground, but they can stick it to their neighbors.
Right.
I think that's a problem. So I think we can wait and kind of see what,
Be interesting to see what Dearborn County.
yeah, I'm fine with that. I just wanted to bring it on our radar because they have 2 or 3 scenarios over there. And I guess from a public standpoint, I would say that if you know one of these right-of-ways on your property and you don't want anyone to get access to it, I would try to get it vacated as soon as possible. But I think there needs to be something that the county can do to
I think you'll
standardize.
find there's a lot of these little towns that apply, because I think we had the situation in New Marion, and I've already talked to somebody about that owns property in Cross Plains. I didn't realize there's some old roads that run parallel to 129 back behind that.
Yep.
So, yeah. Yeah. So-
And we vacated the whole town of Spades, because there were easements. Basically, someone could have came in and bought the separate deed in the back and ran roads between everybody's houses, and someone bought a house and it all got vacated. So that's probably what needs to happen in
Yep.
those little towns. But
Okay.
things to think about. Anything else, Jason?
Just CCMG at 10 o'clock, that's it.
Okay.
Well, Jason Robsey tried to reach me yesterday, and I wasn't able to talk to him.
Not sure why.
What's that?
I don't know why.
Well, he was probably wanting to know the process for trying to acquire the right-of-way for the bridge.
Oh,
repair,
right.
Whatever we need there.
I think you did mention that.
And is any portion of this going to be federal aid project funded by federal aid or anything? Even with Aaron Houchin?
That's a question. If we get that funding, we would have to make sure that it doesn't cross us into a line to where
Yeah.
we have to do what Uncle Sam wants us to do.
Typically, one way of purchasing real estate, council's been through it, the commissioners and the council just went through it with purchase of the ground next to the fairground. You acknowledge that you need to buy this ground or want to buy it, it's for, basically the county can use it. If the total price is under 25,000 or less, then that doesn't apply. Otherwise, you typically get 2 disinterested appraisers, take the average of the appraisal. However, because this is also for a road and you do have the power of eminent domain, because it is a need of that nature, person can just have some appraisals done, and if the people don't like it, they can do eminent domain. But I think that's always been kind of distasteful
Yeah, don't,
to go that route. But anyway,
I know the one's in favor for Dan Gunner. He's on the, what side is that, Tim? South side. He's in favor of fair market value for that little bit.
okay.
Other one, I'm not gonna mention him, but he's not yet.
I think it's just a question then probably maybe getting an appraisal done and stuff like that. But I'll give Rob a call. But
Okay.
I think that
Yeah,
was
let him
part
know.
of
He's
the
handling a big part
acquisition
of it. Right.
of that land. So, if he talks to you, let him, he may see this on public.
Maybe, yeah.
But
He-
I'll try and give him a call today.
Okay.
Okay, she's called 3 times to CSX and nobody will respond to her about the bridge, so. That's up in the air right now on 25 East.
Go start milling around out there.
I'll guarantee it, yeah. Start messing around, they'll show up then, won't they?
Put some like, road closed at a certain time.
Yellow tape around the bottom, yeah, they'll pull in then.
What's going on?
That's all I got. Just one of
That's
the-
usually the way it is with pipelines. You get anywhere near a pipeline with an excavator.
Or a grader, yeah, a grader shows up on the pipeline. That happens too, so I'll hang out till 10. Thanks.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
We have 12 minutes. I don't know how much paperwork we have. Peggy?
Want to appreciate the Rising Sun Regional Foundation, apply for a grant, and we thank Amy for applying, $40,000. So that's a little bit of help for our club.
Yeah, it actually, the $40,000 that was granted to us from the Rising Sun Foundation covered the majority of that project as far as the bells, and I think was a great way to give back to the community. When we met with them, they were excited about this year being the 250th anniversary, and they were really happy and supportive of the project. So I want to thank Amy for filling out the paperwork and Rising Sun Foundation. So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Awesome if it was operational by Independence Day.
I should be.
We're hoping.
Play some
We-
patriotic
I think that
chimes.
was even suggested that maybe at a special time and
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so, I think I know there was some back and forth about it, but it's really neat that they've been sitting up there all them years and not being utilized, and for me personally, I think it's great to see us be able to give that back to the community. I mean, someone donated those to the town, went to the city or the town, and came back to us. Regardless of how we got to this point, I think we should be proud that we got that 200-year-old building operational and watertight. So, even though it costs a lot of
I
money.
did talk, I talked to Craig, I think we need to pursue getting the old bell that we no longer use out of the top,
Okay?
so we need to look at that. I just think that would be something we could get down and put on display, or donate to the Historical Society or something. Because I think once this project's done, it probably will never come out.
Okay.
It's a good opportunity to get it out.
So and I know Craig thought maybe some highway garage guys could help him get the bell down. So maybe we'll pursue that with Craig a little bit further. I know we talked about it, but,
There's an old bell up in the top that we no longer haven't used, and even this new project will not use this old bell. And he said and with the everything up there, now would be the time to get it down. And he said he might need a couple people to help lift to get it out. So we're going to, he said maybe a couple highway garage guys on a Friday, but it's not happening this Friday for sure. So he'll get with you when it time comes.
Is that the swinger?
I believe so. I believe that's the original one,
Yeah, the original one.
Put on the weight.
couple 100 pounds.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's not, I haven't seen it, but it's like it's a bell that's big around, but the original bell before they put the new, what's in there now, we're redoing, so. I just thought it would be pretty nice to have even in the hallway at the courthouse, something, make a stand, have it displayed.
Right next to the tree.
Yep, right next to the tree.
All right, let's sign paperwork.
Patty.
Of course, Patty just walked in, but.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting of, I believe it was January 5th?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Do we have a motion for payroll and to pay the claims?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So anybody that was first of the year got their longevity this pay period? This, something I think we need to do at our last meeting, it was brought to our attention that the Hoosier Hills Water District has not used their Joe Biden Inflationary Act money. John, I would like to see maybe if you could send them a letter asking them to respond by mid-February as to how and when the money's going to be spent by the end of the year, because if they can't tell us, or if that money's not ready to go, we need the rest of the year to figure out where that.
Well, see, somebody was telling, did that money have to be spent by mid-May?
I think it was the end of 26.
Because I was kind of talking to somebody about it, and they thought that it was in mid-May.
Well, we better check that.
I don't know, that's something we ought to check into as well.
I was under the impression it had to be expended before the end of the year in '26. And like all the commitments had to be made, I think, by the end of '24. So,
So
They
if you
should-
can confirm that, right, what Roger's saying, John, if you can confirm that with that law, I know it's committed,
yeah.
but if they don't have this project ready and contractors in line by the end of the year, then we need to, if they can't get it done, committed by a certain time period, then they're not getting the funding. We'll find something else to do with it.
Do they have to have it paid out by the end of the year?
I thought so.
Okay, so they should be starting on the project pretty soon if they're gonna do it.
It's either that or,
If not, we've got places we can put her.
yep, there's that Pentown sewer project could expand into the town of Pentown if we needed to.
Yeah, or I thought do some stuff at the park.
No, we could do that too.
Yep.
The land acquisition, all that was taken care of. I think that was prior to the last meeting. I was told at closing that they were going to send all the paperwork over, and they did, so.
This is just a quick cursory thing.
Okay.
Any funds that were not committed by the end of 2024 were to be returned to the Treasury, United States Treasury. For obligated funds, you have until the end of 2026 to spend those on eligible projects covering increased costs or new initiatives. So that gets a little dicey as to if they allow you to like reallocate.
Well, it new initiatives, sounds to me like,
Let's hope it's worded that broadly, that that's the intent behind it. Not sure. Couldn't tell you at the moment. Or at least I wouldn't want
I
to,
mean,
I wouldn't want to say, yeah, it's chiseled in stone.
I would say we need to do whatever we can do to spend it legal, or spend it locally, because if we don't, it's going to go into saving the whales, and who knows what a new Congress next year could find, waste the money on.
Basically, yeah, if the funds aren't used, ultimately, they could get, they're required to be returned to the treasury.
So,
Right.
okay.
Danielle, when Amy gets back, I'm gonna write you a note, ask her if she can get me what these bills submitted. And that way then we'll have all the address and contact. I mean, I could send the letter to Peter King, the attorney, but I'd probably also like to carbon copy their board president. Okay.
Roger, here's a statement, email from the pest control people as the, why we signed this contract for $175.
Yeah. Did you read
Makes
it?
sense to me, but if we agree on it, we can approve that as well. Your document is somewhere here for me to sign today. I never did get the electronic document.
I don't know why you're not different, because you've got them from her before, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is this it?
Yeah, somehow the stop loss carrier just missed giving that to us for signature, and in their audit found it. So I'll just attach the claims report to it, just sign your name, sign.
As
it.
policy holder on here?
Yeah. Don't date it, because I'm probably gonna retroactive before your
Okay.
renewal.
I believe we already had a motion on this originally.
Okay. Yes, when we did the renewal, it's just the disclosure saying that you're not aware of any additional claims other than what we had already disclosed for the renewal. And I'll just attach the renewal report to it.
Anyway, I probably screwed that up.
I have another copy.
It says policyholder, and I signed it, and then it says, please print authorized representative title. Here,
Here, Don, give me another one.
okay. I don't follow instructions very well.
She knew you messed up
You
the first
found one here, okay. How much was this one for? Oh, this is for, the nonprofit. Lifetime Resources. I didn't see, it was that one, and I saw economic development in there.
Okay.
Policy holder.
When do we get the one for 4-H? Or did we already do it?
I don't think so.
I've been trying to find it.
You want to come get this? So Patty, this is some paperwork that they caught that we did not sign for our health insurance.
It was for the stop loss protection. They just want to make sure that we're not aware of any additional large claimants that they didn't already know about. We weren't.
I'm hurrying, Mark. Or Roger. I mean. I said, I'm hurrying, I said Mark, instead of Roger.
I got a bad case of the yawns.
It's the dark.
Maybe. I think it's because it got cold again.
The water company done. I had that wrote down for the water company thing, so the COVID money.
Oh, you had that wrote down?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. County vehicles, got that down. Last night, John, I didn't get to read everything about the online voting. Are they allowed to do that or not? For sure, I mean,
Well, things that they cannot participate in a meeting by electronic communication is if whatever that body is attempting to take final action, if it includes adopting a budget, making a reduction in personnel, initiating a referendum, establishing or increasing a fee, establishing or increasing a penalty, using the government's body's eminent domain authority, like condemnation proceedings, or to establishing, raising, or renewing a tax. The primary thing is, yes, a member can attend and vote electronically as long as it's not on one of those issues, but to do so, according to this, there's a couple things that would have to happen. First, it needs to adopt a written policy establishing the procedures that apply to a member's participation in a meeting by an electronic means of communication, which that would have to be in place first. They need to have like a policy on it. And they may establish procedures that are more restrictive than the procedures established by this section, which could include limiting the number of members who may participate by electronic communication in any one meeting, limiting the total number of meetings that a governing body may conduct in a calendar year by electronic communication, and requiring a member, in the case, except in the case of a meeting called to deal with an emergency, who plans to attend a meeting by any electronic means of communication to notify the presiding officer within a certain period of time before the meeting. But in order to vote in that meeting, if I'm not mistaken,
Kind of stuck in the middle of those two pages.
They
I didn't know
have
if
to
we
be
all need to
able-
sign it or- Okay.
to be seen and heard.
So you're saying it would have to be televised? Because they come here and they could put
I
it on the
understand that
screen.
they're televised, but if they're talking to somebody on a phone and they can't see the person, no, a vote should not take place. Let's put it this way, that person on the phone should not be voting.
Gotcha, okay. If I could get a copy of that and highlight this, then I'll give it to Christie. Because Owen goes to Florida and everything, that's why it was asked.
I don't think that's gonna work.
The rules were very lax during COVID and all that. I think everything reverted back. I mean, in my opinion, we should probably just put a county policy in that supersedes that just says no one's allowed to vote
Yeah.
if they don't participate in the meetings.
'cause they-
Because in that case, does he get paid or does he not get paid for not physically being attendance? And I think we are all appointed, the boards are elected in this to participate. If I'm not here, I mean, sorry about my luck. If I'm not here for a
Right.
meeting, you guys vote on something that totally disagree, it is what it is. I shouldn't have missed the meeting. You
I
what
know
mean?
they established they had to be present to be paid,
Okay,
because they had people not showing up and getting paid
Yeah,
before. and
I mean-
They fixed that, so.
This is written kind of strangely in the statute, but this
We
is
don't
how
need
it's written. Wouldn't be the
Okay,
first time
all
the
right.
statute's worded
Thank you.
oddly. But subject to subsection I, a member of a governing body of a public agency who is not physically present at a meeting of that governing body may participate in a meeting by any electronic means of communication that does the following. One, allows all participating members of the governing body to simultaneously communicate with each other. Yeah, a phone would do that. Two, allows the public to simultaneously attend and observe the meeting. However, this subdivision does not apply to a meeting held in executive session. Subject to subsection I, a governing body member who participates in the meeting by electronic means of communication shall be considered present for purposes of establishing a quorum, but may participate in any final action taken at the meeting only if the member can be seen and heard. So that means they either got to be present, or they have to have some sort of a video link from where they're calling in from, like FaceTiming, that's, like, maybe you have dual screens or something. That's the way I'm interpreting that. They're going to have to really go out of their way. But even before you do that, the agency has to adopt a written policy establishing the procedures
Okay.
that apply to it. So if voting and attendance should not be happening until they have a policy, and if they want to vote, they're going to have to be seen and heard by not only the other members on the board, but by the public in
Yeah.
general.
Right.
That's the way I'm interpreting it, so.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
the way-
want to
I'll give that to her. Thank you.
Well, I just wonder if there's a way that, I mean, this is the only one where I think this happens, but whether we just, as commissioners, put a policy out that any of these boards cannot be.
I agree they should be present. I mean, but
There's nothing like being able to watch a person, hear their tone of voice, which may be lost over electronic communication, see body language, all that stuff. I mean, all that kind of stuff goes into whether or not somebody's telling you a factual story or they're not.
Agreed.
Body language,
So
tone of voice.
I think that's clearly written to where they should understand that.
yeah,
So we'll let, if that's the only one that comes up, then we'll do that. But if it doesn't, I think if we just put a policy in that says,
Yeah.
regardless of any board appointed, paid or unpaid, that if you're not present,
right.
so.
Don't we have other things we was going to work on the handbook and stuff that we've discussed throughout the past year, but we never did
I don't know
get
if I'd
back
put
on
that in the handbook. I would
No.
put that as a rule.
That's really for employees, boards and governing agencies. I mean, if we want to establish a policy, that look, when it comes to this, the only thing is, council would probably have to establish their own policy, you have to establish your own policy.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I don't
want
know
to
if
put
you get
something
this-
in that would cause problems in other situations, you know.
True.
I think the bottom line is until they establish the written policy themselves of how they're going to deal with it, it just shouldn't happen. So I guess, Mark, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm almost at the point where it's like, until they jump through the hoops to try to establish it,
Yeah,
they're not set up to do it.
true.
And they
Right,
shouldn't be.
so they would have to make a policy for how they're going to handle somebody that does an absentee vote, basically, or a
Well,
off-site
and then
vote.
make sure that they can
Yeah,
comply with the
yeah.
statute on all the
Yeah,
electronics.
yeah.
And my guess is most people won't want to go through that trouble.
And we don't have the technology for that, for them to be able, for the public to be able to see. I mean, you know, with us having to be here on camera, it's no different than,
Yeah.
how would you put someone that's in Florida on the camera?
Right.
And that, and, you know, when, it's one thing if you receive a piece of information, you know, just kind of help with clarification of something. But if somebody's trying to text in or dial in and say, I want this or I want that, no, they need to be at a meeting.
And we've set the precedent, we don't allow that for these meetings. I'm sure there's
Exactly.
county council members, I mean, there at one time, we had people texting us and kind of blowing us up, and we made it clear, if you're not at the meeting, don't be communicating with us until after the meeting. You can't be if you disagree with something you're doing because you're watching the meeting and you're going to be texting us about it, you should have been here at the meeting.
Well, they shouldn't be interrupting in that manner either.
Yeah, so, anyways, all right, that's done. Patty? Did you
I
have
want to
something
talk
else?
about this
Yes.
cardinal pest control real quick.
Yes.
So, when I read this, I understand all this, but I don't understand the part where the commissioners may consider a new treatment anyway, if they're supposed to be treating, if they see something. That doesn't make sense to me, because we're paying for that. Is that the way you understand it?
Let me-
The renewal is unpaid, canceled, the contract is voided. If termites are found in the future, a new treatment is required. Okay, so the original treatment was done by some other company, and the renewal includes a yearly inspection and any retreating that is required.
Okay,
Okay, so that's why we're paying this, any retreating that is required.
yes,
If we don't pay it, we lose that.
okay.
Okay, and then his last comment, the commissioners may consider a new treatment anyway at $3,500.
I thought that was if we canceled I read it as
No,
if.
I mean, it's like, if we cancel, we lose all this, and the cost of the treatment would be around $3,500. Chemical treatments are effective 10 to 15 years. The commissioners may consider a new treatment anyway. So I thought we was paying for that treatment. I mean, if it needs treated, this contract is saying you treat it. I'm not sure what we're paying for.
So I thought it said, let me see that. That they do a yearly inspection, and if it needs to be treated at that time, they do it.
Correct.
Says if the renewal is unpaid, canceled, then the contract is void, and if termites are found in the future, a new treatment is required, the cost of that treatment would be $3,500.
You see what I'm saying? I mean,
Yes. Chemical treatments are effective 10 to 15 years. The commissioners may consider a new treatment anyways, not knowing what chemical was used before 2020. Yeah.
Right, so when we, since 2010, we've paid $25 in renewals.
Do we have a motion to approve this or not?
I'm fine doing it this year, but I would like for him to come in and we can have a conversation on what we're getting and if we need to.
Based off of what he's telling me here, I think we should do that now, before we sign.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Because he doesn't even know what chemicals are done, but we're paying him $150 a year. We don't know whether he's actually showing up to do it. If he wants $150 a year, I think he should come in and present to us and clearly identify why.
I agree, yeah.
Okay? So,
And honestly, I mean, termites are earth to wood contact. Mm-hmm. I mean, with all the renovations to the courthouse, do we have any earth to wood contact left?
no,
So I'm questioning whether, I know it's
Yeah.
only $175, but.
yeah. Like I said, we're not canceling it, but if they want the $170, they need to come in and explain us what we're clearly getting, because paying a guy that doesn't even know what chemicals we used the last time, and when was the last time he's actually came in and done the inspection?
Yeah,
So,
do not that.
Patty? Hello?
Well,
Good morning.
Your favorite topic, I can tell from the back room.
Uh-huh.
They figured out who you was and everybody left.
Yeah, but I wondered.
I'm gonna admit, Patty, I saw you on the agenda, I go,
Yeah.
Oh, man, Sean.
She wearing high heels today?
No,
It's
no,
the-
I got on snow boots. I can warm today.
good looking boots. Sorry, I'll compliment your boots, but it's not you, it's the subject matter.
I know. Believe me, I didn't go to school for this. This is not what I intended to do with the rest of my life and when I grew up. But,
It pays the bills.
and I know this looks huge. I'm not going over every single page. I just want to bring some things to your attention. Hopefully you guys are looking at those monthly financial and clinical reports that I send to Amy. I was a little concerned because things started to go a little bit south there for a minute, but I think that we are on getting back onto a better path. First thing I want to touch on is page 3, the financial dashboard. This is comparing the beginning of this plan year, so June 2025, through the data that we currently have is through November of '25. And then it compares for that exact same period last year. So you can kind of see my point that things started to kind of run a little hot. So in that yellow below will show the prior period. So for example, your medical claims right now, year to date, are at 1.015 million. Last year, the same period was only $505,000. So that's a big uptick in that same time period. Pharmacy, same thing. Right now, we're at almost $174,000, and last year, the same period, we were only at just under $71,000. As far as the split between medical and pharmacy, that stayed the same, and you're in still a really good spot with 88% of it being medical and 12% being pharmacy. As long as we see that about that 80-20 split or below, we're doing well because that pharmacy is out-trending medical, so we want to try to do things to mitigate that and keep the pharmacy a little bit lower, but you do have somebody on a high-cost medication. The reimbursements, so that comes in obviously when the stop loss starts reimbursing if you've got people that have hit that specific deductible. This time last year, nobody had, so you hadn't gotten any reimbursements and hadn't had any rebates at that point either. This year, you've gotten $192,000, 780 in reimbursements. Jumping down to the next line, so total cost, that builds in all of your claims costs and your fixed costs, so all in, $1.2 million. If you look at that total cost versus the premium equivalent, so that's what the county is paying plus what the employee contributions collected all together. This time last year, you were sitting at a surplus of $380,000. Right now, we're sitting at a deficit of $76,000. That deficit actually is getting a little bit better. Like I said, a few months ago, it was worse because you did have, we'll talk about that, but you had a high-cost claimant that hit pretty hard. And then the last box there, the reinsurance loss ratio, usually like to see that about 85% is the about win. Last year, because you hadn't had any reimbursements from reinsurance, it was 0%, no loss. Right now, we're at 140%. And again, that is starting to improve with the improvement of that high-cost claimant. Moving to slide 5, the clinical report. So you've had 15 claimants that have hit the high-cost claimant report. 2 of those are high risk, so we'll talk a little more about those people. One of them is a medium risk person, and the majority of them are all low risk, so people that might have just had a surgery one and done, maybe a knee replacement surgery, births of babies, things like that. So that next slide shows the 2 top claimants that you have on the plan. The first one is a spouse that is taking a medication, Cosentyx. This is a medication that they're having treatment for psoriasis. There is no prior authorization on it, so this person is just taking it on an as-needed basis, and they did not fill it in the month of November. So while it looked like it was going to be an ongoing claim, and in our projection, you'll see that we are assuming worst-case scenario, that it would be ongoing and filled on a monthly basis. It just kind of depends on the treatment and whether or not they get a flare-up of their condition. So that person currently through November has a spend of just under $106,000. And then the second one was an
Can
employee.
you not say, we can read that with it being an employee? I'd rather not read what is going on there.
Yep.
From HIPAA.
Yep, that's fine.
We're too small of a community to where people don't need to know what that is. You
Yep,
guys okay
yep.
with that?
Absolutely.
Yep. So that second person is the other high-cost claimant that I told you that I was concerned about. You can see their claims started to really tick up August, September, October, but it looks like they have gone back down in the month of November. They do have a prior authorization for treatment through January 30th, so that's good news. From what I understand, they are tolerating their treatment well. They will be reevaluated after the end of January to determine whether or not they're even going to need any additional treatment. So I am hopeful that that one might be wrapping up. So that's good news. Any questions on that? And then there's just one, that medium risk person, that's just a condition that kind of sometimes flares up and needs treatment. So they did have a couple flare-ups, but we just rate them at a medium risk because they're not something that's chronically ongoing. Now we get into the fun part. Okay, so slide 8, again, these are just our projections. We don't have any renewal numbers or anything like that, so our actuary team takes a look at where your claims were in currently and tries to project what those are going to look like for 2026 based on any ongoing conditions. We build in trend. We build in the PCORI fees, so those are those Affordable Care Act fees that you have to pay. And then we did build in, so for that that member that is on that high-cost claimant, we are projecting that they could be provided a laser of $90,000. That's not overly significant because your specific deductible for all your other employees is $75,000. So it's just a little bit above what your current specific deductible is. And because there's no prior authorization and they're not filling it every month, even if we do get that laser, it very well may not be realized. So I wanted to say that up front, so we take that into consideration as we look at this projection. So the first 2 columns are looking at and projecting forward 2025, so full plan year, so they annualize that to, and we are showing both expected, so that's your true expected claims cost, and then midpoint is exactly what it sounds like. It's midway between expected and that max cost. But we show that midpoint column because traditionally Ripley County is always funded. When we look at those premium equivalents every year, we're typically funding to midpoint. So we wanted to show those numbers for comparison purposes. And then those last 3 columns, we project for both the expected, which as a reminder, you're 50-50 shot of hitting at or below that expected claims number every year. And then the midpoint, and then the max, so that's the number that's the worst case scenario all in. That last line right before the total is that excess laser liability that I mentioned. So that's that $90,000, that member that would have that separate laser above what you currently have. If we took that person's laser out, just to kind of give you a feel, so midpoint to midpoint, if we continued to fund the same from 2025 midpoint to 2026 midpoint, is a 9.8% increase. If that laser liability isn't realized, that drops it down to a 6% increase. So not nearly as much of an impact. Questions on how we come up with all of that and where I'm going with that before I continue?
Nope.
Okay. The next page is just the premium equivalents we calculated based on that projection, so that's what the full premiums would be, and then they're broken down by the expected midpoint maximum as well. But the next two slides are the ones that I kind of want to spend a little bit of time and discussion on. We've talked several times and kind of hinted about the fact that you guys have an extremely rich health plan. For a high deductible health plans, it's $2,000 individual or $5,000 or $4,000 max benefit is extremely rich. I've been working with you guys for almost 7 years now, and we have never bumped that. I've got in here the benchmark to show how rich that plan is against both Indiana high deductible health plans and nationally, so you'll see that in a later illustration. But this is a projection showing if we bumped that from $2,000, $4,000 to $2,500 and $5,000, what that does to the projection. So it takes that increase from 9.8% at midpoint down to 7.9%. And then the next illustration takes it a little bit further. So let me take a step back and explain. Right now, you guys have what's called a non-embedded deductible, which the employees are used to, because if I'm an employee only on the plan, I only have to meet that $2,000 deductible. If I am a family, that full $4,000 has to be met by even just one member before everything's considered paid at 100%. That's what we call a non-embedded deductible. The illustration on page 11 would switch you guys, give you the ability to switch to an embedded deductible. Now, it raises that deductible from that current $2,000 to $3,400, but it gives you that embedded deductible. And what that means is if I'm an individual, all I have to meet is that individual deductible. Even if I've got 6 kids on the plan, if something happens to me, I don't have to meet as an individual that full family deductible. I only have to meet that individual deductible. That's what we traditionally see, and that $3,400 is that minimum deductible in order to be HSA qualified. That number keeps creeping up every year by $100. For 2026, it's $3,400. In 2027, we anticipated that it'll be $3,500. You guys are going to eventually get to a point where you're not even a qualified high deductible health plan if we don't start making some adjustments, because that $4,000, it's going to catch up with that minimum deductible amount. That's why it's non-embedded, because that single deductible is way below the minimum requirement for a deductible.
So if I understand this correctly, if you're on the family plan, and you hit $4,000, it doesn't matter who, one person, a family of 4 each hits $1,000, then it is it.
Yep.
Under the embedded, it's once,
Yep.
one person hits the $3,400.
Yep.
Okay.
Then it's met for that individual, and then you'd have a separate, we can do the plan design however we want for the family, full family cap. We can either times 2 it, which is what we typically see, or you can, reduce that a little bit to help the families and not make it a full times 2, however you wanted to do the family deductible on it, because there still would be a separate family deductible cap.
But like when you say the family cap, that's still, the individual has to, I'm kind of confused on other
Yep,
things.
it's so hard to explain the
So
difference
you've got-
between embedded
so
and
right now, we
non-embedded.
have 2,000 and 4,000.
Yep.
Okay, so if you have the family plan, if one person uses it, they have to reach 4,000.
Yep.
It's not 2,000 per
Correct.
person.
Correct.
With a 4,000 max.
Correct.
I think that's where
That's
people
a
get confused.
non-embedded, yep.
Right. That's where people get confused.
So if one person has $2,000 in the plan and two other ones have $1,000 expense, they hit their 4,000.
Yeah, if they're all in an accident together,
Right, they makes the
Whatever-
maximum.
whoever-
But if you
whoever's
just have
claimed.
one person that has issues, they have to reach 4,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Not 2,000.
Yes.
and typically in a family,
Yes.
it's one person that's driving the
Yeah.
claims cost, so for one person to have to satisfy the family deductible, but because it's a $2,000 individual deductible, we cannot make your plan non-embedded, or make it embedded. It has to be non-embedded
Because
because
the minimums for a high, what is the?
it's 3,400, for 2026, it's $3,400. So in order for you to have that, where an individual would only meet that individual deductible, you'd have to have an individual deductible of $3,400. And right now, you guys only have it at $2,000.
So would that be something we could handle by potentially putting in some extra money in giving them an extra HSA match to help
Yep, if we
cover that
raise to the,
cost?
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. If we raise to the deductible in order to make that a little more palatable, you could do, because right now you're doing that dollar for dollar match, but if we wanted to do something and give them something up front that doesn't require a match, just to help offset some of that deductible increase, we could look at doing that. But you can see that if we jumped all the way up to the $3,400 deductible and gets you a lot more in line with what we see on high deductible health plans from midpoint to midpoint, that'd get you down to a 1.6% increase. And if you actually take out that $90,000 laser, if that person's not, that $90,000 additional liability is not realized, then it's going to give you a negative increase. So kind of depends on how the stop loss renewal comes out with that laser and that person. But I think that it's something that we should definitely consider. And then, just to take it a step further, the next page is that, and I know this print is really small on this slide, but this is the benchmark report. So Apex does a biannual benchmark report showing both nationally and Indiana and industry-wide what we traditionally see in the type of plan that you are offering. That first column shows your high deductible health plan, again, $2,000, $4,000 deductible with a $2,000, $4,000 out-of-pocket. If you look all the way over to the right, we're comparing other municipalities to you, is a $3,000, $6,000 deductible with an out-of-pocket maximum of $5,000 and $10,000. So you guys are significantly below, and you can see all across the board, Indiana and nationally, if you really zoom in on that out-of-pocket maximum, where you guys, somebody pays $4,000 as a family out-of-pocket, and they're done for the year. It's 100% paid. Where you see anywhere else for a family out-of-pocket is anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000. So it's a really rich plan when you look at and compare it up against other counties and other employers, both in Indiana and nationally. So I think at the very least, we need to at least consider the scenario 2, where we bump it a little bit. But if we wanted to do the full bump and go up to getting into an embedded deductible, then what Roger suggested is possibly maybe we do that to get it more in line and then offset it to some degree with some HSA money. That's a
I
good
don't know
idea.
if you, I mean, in my opinion, looking at that, if we're already a rich plan, why would you offset it with HSA money? Because you're really not, if you bump it up to an individual, an embedded plan, I mean, I guess that would be on individual as well, though, right? That's just not family.
Correct.
So if you
So
were-
the
if you
individual
were a-
deductible would bump up to $3,400,
Okay.
and then you'd have a separate family one. And again, because you're self-funded, you can make that. So if you wanted to do it a full times 2,
So
which is what it is now.
Is what I don't want to do is, I mean, I would rather have more employees on the plan than families, right? Okay? Mm-hmm. And spouses on,
Yep.
if a spouse is working somewhere, you want it to where their employer is taking that, because their employer's probably giving them a drastic discount. Mm-hmm. I mean, personally, that's how I did it. It finally got to the point where my wife's employer was so much, half as much hers was $50 and I'm paying $120 for her to be on my plan, a paycheck. It was silly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that's something to think about. I see why you would potentially increase the height of
Well, I'm
deductible.
just, you know,
And just to offset it to some degree, I don't think we're thinking about fully replacing.
no,
to make
but you
it-
take you increase a deductible per person $1,500 in 1 year. That's a pretty good kick in the butt.
Yeah,
That's why I thought there's some way to offset, if they could pay
A little
half of
bit.
it, we could pay, or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. We could,
For the single employee, this would hurt.
yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
For a family, this would help.
Yeah.
The $3,500 would help a family.
well.
If you have a
the-
$4,000 deductible, one person is your person, that is it, they hit their $3,400, everything's covered, yeah, there's only $600 difference.
Yes,
right? So,
because they're no longer meeting that $4,000 out of pocket, now they've only got the $3,400.
And-
But people will see it, that it's a $3,400 individual and a $6,800 family cap.
so
If that's the number.
some
you
of it
use.
is that if our renewal comes back and it's not, and if we're at a 1% increase, I don't see the sense into changing anything.
Correct.
If it comes back at a 20% increase, then I think we're going to be forced to have to
Exactly.
do one of
Understand.
these. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
We'll
it-
see how
it-
the numbers come out, but I definitely think at the very least, we need to make some movement. Otherwise, the IRS legislation on that minimum deductible is going to catch up with your plan.
what is that minimum deductible?
It's $3,400 for 2026. We've seen historically, it's going up $100 every year. They-
But we're
they-
still below that?
Yeah.
Or we're still
Yep, right now, you're still good.
good? I mean, I understand at some point, but the reason why our plan is this rich and the reason why it's this good is because, cross our fingers, we've not had drastic increases that other counties and other businesses have had.
Yep,
So if we can keep everything low, then I'm fine with writing it until the federal government tells us we have to change it. But at some point, that could change. So
yep.
anyways.
The rest of the report is a lot of just additional data, information, things like that, so nothing really in there that I want to touch on.
I'm an idiot
You
for
can
not
just-
being on this plan, by the way.
The one thing that I did want to talk about, and Danielle, I don't know if you have any insight into this, I was going to ask Amy, because I know that you guys have had struggles with standard for all of your non-medical benefits. Those are still in a rate guarantee until 2027, but we had talked about marketing those. I didn't know if things had quieted down, or if if that team still feels like we should go ahead and market it to see if we want to possibly.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, I'll shoot a message to Amy and ask her if she wants me, since they're in a rate guarantee, all of that, so your life and your disability and those worksite products are all in a rate guarantee. So they're not going to be renewed, your rates are going to stay the same. The dental and vision do renew this year, so we will market those so that we have negotiation power. I think everybody's happy with Delta and with VSP. I did get somebody inquire about ortho. I don't typically hear much about it, but somebody did ask me how much braces would cost, and I had to tell them, well, your plan doesn't cover orthodontia. So I didn't know if there was any interest in quoting, just add that. It wouldn't impact anybody on employee or an employee spouse because it's child ortho only. So it would just increase the people that have children on employee, child, or family.
In my opinion, because I have it, it was $1,000.
Yeah, that's it.
It was one time.
And braces, yeah,
So
it's a
the pay-
lifetime maximum.
Dental's getting to the point to where you're better off not even have dental. In some cases, especially like my employer doesn't pay what they used to pay. I'm better off just to pay the dentist cash out of my health savings account than I am to pay $1,500 in premiums.
Yeah, if
They
you've
don't
got
pay it.
healthy teeth,
They don't pay
sometimes,
nothing.
sometimes people will take that, yep, if you don't have any dental issues.
I mean, and then when my daughter got braces, it was one-time $1,000, and they'll never pay a dime towards it ever again.
Yes. Yeah, most of them, and we've got the benchmarking for that as well. I think right now, the benchmark for the annual maximum on braces might be $1,500.
Okay.
So that's a little bit richer. I've seen them, some plans pay up to $2,000, but again, it is a lifetime maximum on ortho. So just thought that I'd bring that up. I think, Roger, it might have been you that I forget which, one of you mentioned at one point in time, is there anything on our dental plan that we don't cover
Right.
that we should consider? And everything else under the plan is pretty traditional that we see. No weird exclusions or anything on your dental plan. That's the only thing, is that you don't cover
Cheapest thing
ortho.
is, put a program in there where dentures are free, where county pays for dentures, then you don't have to pay for healthcare anymore, or dental anymore.
Any other questions?
I would just like to make a comment. I mean, that was about the deductible and where the IRS is going.
Yep.
It was very good information, and if we do, hopefully we can maintain what we've done, and if we do that, I think we should have a small little slide that we tell the people in the insurance meeting that, hey, we're keeping it here, but this is what we're looking at, and by doing good, we're keeping it here, but don't be surprised in the future if it goes here. Try
Yeah.
to give them a heads up that.
So
you know,
maybe share some of that benchmarking data?
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Because that's good information, and I think people need to understand really how good a plan we have here.
Yeah.
And I know in the past, we had some issues, of people getting past due billing and things like, I've not heard anything. Have you had any issues with it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Have
Well,
they been resolved, or?
No.
you have a balance bill? Because I know that I've been in communication with your wife,
Yeah.
and there hasn't been any balance bills. It was a matter of when you switched to that family, to the single, and we got that all worked out, as far as I know.
Yeah, there's some other, I'll talk to you.
You would talk to her?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
yeah. Me and his wife know each other well now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think employees have gotten used to me and coming to me, and so I definitely think that noise from, 6, 7 years ago has definitely gotten better.
And I mean, even, I'm going to say this, even the actual bills, if you don't hit your deductible under this plan, I have compared my personal plan, and if an employee goes because they have the sniffles to their doctor, they get a prescription for an antibiotic, they're only being billed like $70
Yeah.
at the time that I did the benchmark on it.
Yeah.
Under my health insurance plan, I'm spending $140 to Margaret Mary every time a kid has the sniffles on my deductible. So even though I'm in this fancy network through HMR, we're still getting better rates, what you're
Yes.
paying out of pocket in this
Yes.
county underneath this plan.
Yes, because they don't pay that inflated 300% like most networks do. They're paying that Medicare plus 20, so it's significantly below. The other thing is your employees have access in the next time, well, maybe I'll even get an updated report, because now we'll have first a 6-month report for Stop Health. So you remember, we added that telemedicine at
Yeah,
no cost to
yeah.
employees.
I was
and
going to
that
ask how that's
utiliza-
going, if we have any results from
The
it.
utilization is going really well, and so I will actually request a report from June through December, and I'll just email that out to Amy to forward to you, so you guys can
Yep.
see that. But definitely, so that gives them the option if they've got the sniffles. I mean, I just used it for a sinus infection and just had that telehealth visit and got an antibiotic. So that's another option. I mean, building in those other kinds of things to help offset the fact that they're on that reference-based reimbursement.
Let's keep our fingers crossed that we continue to go in the right direction on this and we have an easy renewal next year.
Yep,
So,
perfect.
anything else?
So when will we start talking about our plan for next year?
What month is this, January? I will probably want to come back out in March to finalize, so give you what the renewal is and what the recommendations are and everything like that for June.
Okay, all right.
Okay? All right.
Are you
Thank
going to be
you.
around later? Are you sticking around?
Yeah, I'm here from 10 to 11,
Okay,
so.
okay, thanks. Sorry, no, I was already up here.
Just got an update for you guys. The alley by the jail that needs to be repaired. Talked to Jason, and he talked to Omero, who's here. They can answer some questions for you. It needs to be patched and then overlaid. Omero gave a quote of $3,500 for it. They'll be out here in the summer working on Water Street, so they could do it then if you wanted to. I just wanted to pass that along to you.
The quote was how much?
$3,500?
Can you do it for 3? Because I think that was our reimbursement. Fair enough. All right, sounds good.
Yep.
All right, get it done for $3,000.
Do we need a vote
There
on
you
that?
go, Jeff.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, thanks.
Just make it a quarter, it's the town's road, just make it a quarter inch less pavement or something to save your $500. Just kidding. All right, you'll cheat us right? Lisa, we are going to be, do we have to open this up as a meeting, a separate meeting, or no? Okay. So we are going to have our Board of Finance meeting with the treasurer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Still enjoying high interest rates?
Thank you.
So if you look at the first page, it's the investment status as of 12/31 of '25. We had $7,100,000 in CD investments. It breaks down the banks where they were at. So then the second page is of the individual banks. At Civista, there was, at the end of the year, there was $1 million at Civista in CDs. At Friendship, there was $3 million, and Napoleon State Bank, there was $3,100,000. The total interest that was received on CDs in '25 was $312,008.01.
Where's that on here, Lisa?
Where does it tell the total?
Yes.
You just have to add up all the highlighted
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
Or actually, on the last page, it does show the total, but on two of those, that Napoleon, that was cashed in '26, so you have to take those two amounts out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then you see the active banks for 2025, which is Civista, Friendship, Napoleon, United Fidelity, Trust Indiana. And then they have the interest rate comparables from '24 to '25. And naturally, in '25, they've gone down for United Fidelity and Trust Indiana. Everything else has pretty much stayed the same. I don't know if you're there yet or not, but then the interest, I have the breakdown of the interest that shows what we got in each bank account. That's just our checking account and money market saving. It's $1,078,441.90 is what we received in that interest. So the total interest received in 2025 is $1,390,449.91. And then the last page is just the financial report that you receive every month for the end of the year.
Question.
Okay.
Is there enough cash flow maybe to move a little bit more into some CDs for this year? Because I think to take advantage of these interest rates, because I mean, in the next coming years, we're probably not going to be getting near these interest rates.
I get a better interest rate in the money market at United Fidelity, and I've got like 20 million down there. So I move as much as I can.
Okay.
So I do watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that the first of the year claims kind of hit me kind of hard, so as soon as we get January, February over, then I'll start moving it down.
Yeah, because that's, most of it's in that money market account through Indiana Trust, right?
United Fidelity. is the
United
same.
Fidelity.
There's Trust Indiana and United Fidelity, and United Fidelity gives me the best interest rate, so I'm keeping it there as much as I can,
Perfect.
and I can move it back and forth just from sitting here, so, yeah.
And it's, I mean, at some point, kind of crazy we're even talking about interest rates being this high, but
Yeah. Yeah, the banks are not keeping up, so,
it's good and bad.
Do you need one, do you need to sign
yeah,
on
if
these?
you will sign,
I'll sign this one here.
okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Do you have, if we take that signed copy, can I have, do you have a copy that I can have? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's just an open, I was gonna mention, not doing a new project, if
Thanks, Lisa.
those would not use the money, everything I'm reading here seems to indicate you would have to move it to an already obligated project that was obligated by December 31, 2024. If that project can use more money, that's fine. You can't do a new project. You can only,
Expand a current project.
well, that or help it out to a greater degree, the way I'm reading this. But let me confirm on that, but, I don't know if the courthouse friends.
That's what I was just thinking. Surely they're going to use this money.
Well, but if they don't,
Yeah.
you know, infiltration of water, creating mold and bad health and stuff like that, and the need to get that all corrected maybe as an overall renovation project.
Yeah.
But it could go to the Sunman, and I'm not sure, but I was kind of under the impression most of the other projects were completed. I don't know. But
Yep.
how's Sunman coming with their extension?
There was just a payment, a claim that we approved, but it's up and
It's in-
running,
it's
it's
in
work.
progress.
Yeah, it's in progress right now, yeah. I mean, it could be expanded at any time. They actually have all the drawings and architecture, or not architect, but engineering work done if more money can be thrown at that project.
Well, here's what it says. The prior obligations of key, the excess funds from a failed project can only be moved to another existing eligible project for which an obligation contract subaward was already in place prior to December 31, 2024. Funds cannot be reallocated to a project that was not obligated by the end of 2024. Those are going to have to be returned.
But
You'd have to approve the reallocation through a budget amendment, where basically you just say, hey, you had this project, we have some unused funds, we can put more towards your project.
I think the next thing we need to do is make sure we send Hoosier Hills Water a letter
I think
and give them an end date that says we need a response by this time, or the money's gone, or we need something tangible saying that money is going to be spent by the end of the year, contract showing, we need something substantial. And if I'm not mistaken, Hoosier Hills project, because Jeff asked me about it, was the new water line to go under Laffery Creek? Was like a new,
I think they were extending I don't know if it was all the way to Milan or if it was from Delaware, but it was basically going to run pretty much along 350, at least from 129 all the way into Osgood. I was under the impression.
yeah.
Or at least they have two lines there, especially over by, I think, Plum Creek, Lockery Creek, and they're old and they're undersized, from what I recall of it.
What was the total money? Remember the total money?
That I do not remember.
I thought it was over a couple 100,000, I think.
But yeah, I mean, they need to, I'm not surprised, I'll say this at public meeting, they were unorganized when they came. They asked us to give them money to rebuild a water tower. And if there's a water district in the county that needed money on an emergency to build a water tower, I'm not sure that, we didn't feel like that was an obligation that, $1 million water tower is something you should have been planning for over a multi-year process.
And as much as nobody likes to have high utility bills, sometimes there has to be those rate increases from time to time to start building those funds
Yeah.
for repair, replacement,
Yep.
Well, Bertie told me they got plenty of money over there. Bertie's awfully quiet today.
So.
We have bid openings in 7 minutes. Is there anything else?
So, what about the reappointments for like the alcohol board and his? Do we want to go ahead and get that underlined, get that taken care of?
So, Amy Jr.,
AJ?
Richard Block was an appointment for the alcohol board, and we don't,
We're uncertain as to how long that appointment was for. So, he thought it was for the year, and I can't find anything that says how long it's for. So we was going to, if it's by the year, do we want to go ahead and reappoint him now, or to just wait till we find out for sure? How do you want to do, what do you want to do?
just make it clear that he's going to serve
gonna
until, we get it clarified.
Right,
And
and
then
then-
he'll be reappointed once we figure out.
Okay, and we need to make sure and get that put on the list. So
Okay.
there's one other person on that list that the council appoints, and it has no date as far as how long it is. That's why it's the only thing I could find. So, and then we had,
Reappointment of Jeff to the Economic Development Board.
Yeah.
that is, do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then I'm on the Southeastern Indiana Solid Waste District, and I would like to be reappointed.
Didn't we already do that one? I thought we did that one,
They sent the paperwork for that.
I
Yes.
thought they did.
Yeah, I thought we talked.
And then you represent.
The SIRPC.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Serpic. Yeah. And we voted on that.
yep. So the other, John, can you clarify what the nepotism law is for,
Well, let's go back.
okay,
I'm looking at 7.12413, term of office for appointed members of a local alcoholic beverage board is 1 year from the date of the appointment until his successor is appointed and qualified. So that should be an annual thing.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to keep him on the alcohol board.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, the nepotism law became effective in 2012, but basically I printed out the definition of relative, and of course you cannot hire a relative who's under the direct supervision of another relative in that capacity. So relative means any of the following: spouse, number one, a parent or step-parent, a child or stepchild, a brother, sister, stepbrother or stepsister, a niece or a nephew, an aunt or an uncle, a daughter-in-law or son-in-law. And that would, as far as child goes, that includes an adopted child. Brother and sister include half-brothers and sisters. So, any issues when it comes to cousins once removed, cousins by marriage?
Non-issue.
Non-issue,
Okay.
as far as I can tell.
All right.
And I looked at a draft copy of the resolution that I prepared, and I don't think the law I don't believe the law's been amended to speak of since 2012.
So you're good for one.
That's why we was checking it out.
Yep.
Jeff called me and indicated that one of the people here can
Yeah.
send the email,
We
a
have
cousin,
3 minutes,
but that's
but
not an issue.
we do need to discuss next steps on, do we have printouts of applicants? There's a lot.
I've got all of them here.
Okay. I would like to see the local ones. There were several, like, I don't know if we put it online or how it got out there, but there were people all over
Oh, yeah.
all over the country.
Yeah, we want them
That-
to live in Ripley County.
So I would like to, just see the ones that live within the local.
So can we discuss offline who we would like to interview after this meeting?
Yes, I think we could do it that way, and then we will get with the auditor's office and have it scheduled. So as it stands right now, I do want to official, we are no longer accepting applications,
Exactly.
okay?
Yep.
So if it was not here today, there was one of them that someone said they put in an application with last name Owens. I never saw that one. Do we see it?
That sounds kind of familiar.
Last name Owens.
I think you're allowed to review them, each one of you individually at your own leisure, and, you can make considerations about what you want. And then if you really want to get into interviews or something, probably hold an executive session for that purpose.
Okay.
So, if you want to, like, individually, you guys say like, hey, I've looked through these and I really think these are 2, 3, 4 guys that.
Yeah, I mean,
we should
I
interview.
think to keep it limited, 3 to 4, we need to come to a consensus on 3 to 4 interviews.
Yes, yeah. And we'll do that offline, right? We don't,
I think what I'd recommend you doing that, if individually look them over, and if you just say, here's the 3 I like the best, or the 4 I like the best, maybe choose 5, and then if you kind of lay them all out there and you happen to all 3.
I think we can do that
then you
after
could
the
set an
meeting.
Okay, yeah.
executive session.
So we will,
Interviews.
do we have with that being said, from an executive session, do you guys have a timeline, or we can probably set that here in a public meeting? a preference on when we could have an executive meeting, maybe next week?
Yeah, because there's nobody in that position at this time, right?
No. So the sooner
The executive session would be to do what?
to be, and to do interviews.
So we would probably need to understand when when they could come in to do an interview. I guess maybe it's without setting a date, and then tell them, hey, this is the date you're
I
going
mean,
to be.
in the past, we've just said, if you want the
Okay.
job, you come in on this,
Okay.
when we're offering it, we can accommodate changes if we
Yeah,
need to, but
okay,
we,
yeah.
99% of the time, we've done it that way.
You've got it in the evening normally, too.
I would prefer in the evening.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Because
we can-
of
we set a date.
what, I'm good any day next week, other than Monday's a holiday, we need 48 hours to advertise it. Thursday,
That's fine with
That's
me.
fine, with me.
Thursday at 6 o'clock? Oh, no, I can't, I got horseshoes on Thursday. So, sorry.
Wednesday's fine for me.
Wednesday, I will be at the governor's residence, meeting with the governor for a private message. So if anybody has anything that they want to discuss regarding our governor, please give me a call. I'd be happy to take it up there to Indianapolis.
Tuesday, then.
Tuesday,
That's not enough time to advertise. You gotta have 2 days to advertise.
48 hours.
Monday's
Oh,
a
that's right,
holiday.
it's a holiday.
Monday's a holiday.
Imagine that. Well.
Monday the
Thursday-
26th?
Wait a minute, Thursday, Friday, and then Tuesday evening, yes, there's 48 hours.
If you can get a hold of them, you gotta pick your people and then get a hold of them.
I think setting the executive meeting we don't have to,
Actually, I wouldn't do the executive session for the interview. I'm seeing some stuff that would tend to say that you do that in an open meeting, but you use an executive session to develop the list of prospective candidates.
we don't do interviews in a public meeting. We've never done interviews in a
seeing-
public meeting.
I'm seeing two different ways of looking at it here. And I know it hasn't been done that way and there's never been an issue. So.
10:01.
I could review them online and put it in email who that I would pick for if we all pick 4 and then whoever has the most nominations out of the 3 is who will get interviews, if we want to interview 3. We can do that via email.
Sit tight. Still going through this reading.
Can you bring me the bids? Please. We have this as normally when we do bids, it's a hard stop. I didn't bring my knife today.
Let's come back to this.
Yes.
If you want to open bids.
All right, so we have bids for our CCMG grant. Thank you. Looks like we have 2. Maybe. Right. First bid we have here is from Paul Rowe. Number 11 and number 9 is 78.15 across the board. And that's also the escalating and de-escalating, $78.15. And this is a laid price. Okay? Next, we have Dave O'Mara. It looks like across the board for 11s and 9s, escalating and de-escalating is $75.25. If John can review these and make sure that they all meet the state of Indiana's requirements for CCMG, that would be great. Thank you for bidding. Appreciate it. You okay with that? You gonna be able to make your fit within your budget and everything that was given to you? Okay.
Have you been searching for blacktop layers? I said, have you searched for any blacktop layers?
Pavers.
Or paver, I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you was doing any research, that's all. So.
You had some stains on your shirt. That isn't Brandon Brandt's, is it? How's your foreman hunt working? You got two guys testing it out? Thank you. Yep.
See ya.
Both of them have all the appropriate documentation that was requested, so you're welcome to take whoever you feel is the lowest responsible that are the two,
Be
which I think.
making a motion for Dave O'Mara.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, let's get back to where we're
Yes.
starting. Sometimes, I do these brief research searches here, double check them, and this is where AI is not always right. I think AI got confused. You can't hire someone without doing it in a public meeting, but absolutely executive sessions. For, basically, it's under 514, 1.56.1. B5 to receive information about and interview prospective employees. So you could do the whole shooting match in an executive session, but if you only want to have one, like I said, my suggestion is individually, each one of you go through them, look at them, whoever you think has the best criteria, throw them out there.
How about we all pick 4, okay, via email, text message, however you want to do it, and then we'll take the top 3 votes. You okay with that, or you want to do more? I don't, you guys have an opinion?
I just know some more qualified than others, so.
Yeah, and I would prefer local. When James got hired, there was somebody from like Michigan that was very qualified and couldn't even get him to do an interview. Like, we tried to set it up and they weren't coming down, and it was kind of silly. Like,
If we have somebody qualified for local living in Ripley County, so they don't have to run to another county on top of it, I think,
and I think there's 3. In my opinion, there are 3 people that live in Ripley County that 2 of them I personally know.
Well, you just have to be careful, like, there was one applicant that looking for it's a hybrid position, which tells me they're not wanting to be here full-time. So, just
Yeah.
need to be careful on looking at some of these, so.
Okay. So that's how we'll handle
this
that
is a
now.
full-time only position.
Yes, with the take-home vehicle that,
Yes, okay.
You definitely want them living in the county then if you
Yes.
can, if they're qualified.
let's go back to setting a date for interviews. I really don't think you guys want to do it on a Friday.
No, but we can do it on Tuesday afternoon, 6. There's time.
Just bear in mind, some of the people might be leaving other jobs too, or potentially need to leave another job. Don't know if that cuts into.
Does that give our interviewers enough time if we,
Well, if it's not, I guess we can reschedule, but I'd rather have it scheduled
48
instead of
hour
waiting
notice.
another 48.
Open interviews, the public.
Yeah, the executive session for interviewing prospective employee for the EMA position.
I know it's
48
over a
hours.
week out,
Media.
but do it Monday,
And
do it
we
Monday,
have
hold
not
on.
had that person there since the 9th.
So,
Make sure.
we can't make a formal action, I understand that, but we can't make a formal action in a public meeting until February 2nd. So regardless of when we do interviews, if we do them next week or we do them the following week, it's not going to matter because we cannot legally hire the
So
person.
we can't schedule a regular meeting?
We will do, I would like to have our interviews
But that's
done, the
10 days
job
out.
offer done, and be able to announce at our next public meeting on the 2nd who that position is if they accept it.
We have to advertise 10 days for a regular meeting.
Do you want, these are all the
Yes.
applications and resumes. I've got 6 names I wrote down that I feel are potential people
Okay,
to interview. And I'll let you guys look at them and
okay. Do you want us to pick 6 too?
however you want to do it. And,
Okay.
I'm pretty flexible on mine.
Let's go back to setting a date. Like, it doesn't really, the sooner we do it, isn't going to make any difference, as long as it's
Correct.
done before. So are you guys okay with January 27th at 6 o'clock,
What day of the week is that on?
a Tuesday? Is that a good day for you?
That's fine with me.
All I can say as far as I know.
Okay, so,
I don't have much to look at.
Back here. Back here.
John, does that fit your schedule, if you wanted to attend it?
Is it available? We need to find that out too, I guess.
6 PM on the 27th? It would. I don't know that I need to be there unless you think I need to be there.
Normally, as long as Amy or someone from the auditor's office is there to make sure,
Just to record, just
yeah.
So we
identify
will,
what time the
I
executive
mean, this is for the
session starts.
interviews.
This is the set interviews.
So we will start, so when we set the interviews up, they'll be starting at 6, however long.
And we'll have Amy stagger. How long do you guys want to meet? 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
The outside candidates.
I mean,
30 should be plenty.
30 should be plenty, yeah.
30 minutes, so it'd be, whoever gets called first can pick which time. they
Maybe
want.
tell them to be on standby, come early, in case it goes quicker.
Yep, that sounds good.
They can
Cool.
answer that question, too.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We need, I'm not sure where we need to go with this, but I asked you guys if you watched the health board meeting the other night, can the health board set policy
That's right.
that is different than what the county's handbook says?
Years ago, they had their own separate employee handbook, and they're kind of an extension of state government. Then I believe when Dr. Robinson and Dr. Steve Stein were on the board, they revised that, and they kind of made it mirror the employee handbook of Ripley County. I better look at the statute because
So they're setting an employee performance review, and it's nothing like what the county does for review and disciplinary procedures. And I was just kind of curious, it sounded to me like it's totally different than what the rest of the county's doing. And I wasn't sure if that was something we could do, I don't know.
We do it for the highway garage doesn't. But there's nothing tangible with it, right? So like, they have a file, do a review, but salaries aren't based off of it. It would probably be just future disciplinary actions. So, I don't know. I didn't watch the meeting, so I don't know what they were are they trying to do it based off of salaries? Did they say that?
I
or-
don't think so, no, yeah.
I mean, I would.
They was putting in a formal appeal process in for the person, and I just think that's going a long way compared to what we have now for the county. Appealing to the board if they disagreed with their, I don't want to say punishment, but whatever their disciplinary action.
I mean, I think we should have that countywide.
Yeah. I know there was
I did.
another mention of the cell phone policy, which is in the employee handbook, I believe, and they was wanting to make some amendments to that on how they can track the cell phone. They was setting a lot of policies that are not consistent with the county, I don't believe. And that just raised my awareness, is like, is this the way it should be?
I mean, I think we could have to approve whatever they do that changes outside, but I don't know if that changes, I don't know what changes the handbook with them having additional policy.
Right.
As long as those policies are, like, they can't fire someone based off of, I mean, it's, our handbook is gonna be what sets whether someone can be let go. If they're creating.
So why would they have a policy to dictate something different?
That's a good point.
I mean, they would have to, I think I don't know, if it's like, hey, we're gonna do interviews, or we're gonna have, I think there needs to be a really formal process over there about how people make complaints, because I've sat here in this seat, and as soon as the health board administrator or board does something they don't like, and an employee's reaching out to me. And I think I think we've asked Tara to have a formal complaint process, in my opinion. I didn't listen, I'm going off of what I think was said during a meeting that I didn't listen to, Roger.
So I think the two statutes that kind of control are this. Indiana Code 16-20-1-2 basically states, a local health department shall operate as an agency of local government administratively responsible to the appropriate county or city executive. Administratively responsible, meaning they are required to follow state Board of Health laws and enforce those. But from an administrative standpoint, they kind of operate within the same purview as the county. Section 3, procedural rules. 16-20-1-3, the board of each local health department may adopt procedural rules for the board's guidance and to establish administrative and personnel policies of the local health department that are consistent with the administrative operating policy of the appointing authority. You guys are the appointing authority. So when Dr. Robinson and Dr. Stein went through and revised their employee handbook and stuff, they were literally trying to be consistent with as far as vacation days, sick days, bereavement, all that stuff, as I recall. That's been a while back that those two gentlemen worked on that. But they were trying to make it follow the employee handbook. Now, it doesn't say it absolutely has to be to a T, but it ought to be consistent with. So maybe it's worth having a talk with them, like, okay, what are you proposing to do here, and how is it consistent with our employee handbook?
So is Tara, can we get Tara in here to ask her that?
Possibly.
Does that make sense?
That's fine. I don't have her phone number, but,
Well, I'll get her.
yeah. While we're waiting, can we have a short recess?
Yes, let's take a short break.
I looked at the calendar for the 27th. Area and planning will be in here for a meeting from 5 to 7 at night.
Really?
So this is Tuesday, January 27th, 5 to 7, area and planning.
That doesn't, we can still use the room back there.
I know, but I just want to let you know that that's going
Yeah.
on.
That one seems odd because they normally meet on the first Tuesday of the month.
I don't know.
Could that have been a leftover from a BZA when they had their meetings separate?
I don't know, it's just on the calendar, and it's on the 3rd too, so I don't know if they've got,
Well, let me call up the tab.
it's on the calendar.
I don't know if that would have been some special meeting, but I'm not.
What you got there, Roger? Oh, shit.
Not right now, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, they've got one on
Where'd those come from?
February 3rd too at 7.
Where's Jack's at?
USI?
Okay, Tara.
Hey, Vicky, how are you? Not bad. For some reason, on the calendar, for the county, on January 27th, there is a notation down in the planning commission, we have the commissioners annex meeting room. We don't have a meeting that night, but is that possibly HWC for the comprehensive plan? Okay, good enough. Got it. I was just wondering if that was some leftover mistake from when the BZA met on the 4th, or the last Tuesday of the month. Got it, okay, thank you. All right, bye. You too. Okay, so that's another meeting of the steering committee for comprehensive plan. So, yeah. And they're usually not very loud,
I know, I just wanted to let you know.
but, yeah. Garden City?
Need a coffee bar back here.
A bar?
Coffee.
Coffee bar.
You want, oh, that's awesome, that's Oreo.
I think they should put a kegerator back there.
A little early, but that'd be all right.
I don't know if I'm proud of that. I don't want to touch that, but I won't try to see. I hate cream filled donuts.
Switch the meetings to the evening. Maybe we'll get more public input.
Exactly. Put some rum in the coffee. Yeah, a bottle back here.
I'm gonna try to get this trash can because these nuts are gonna go everywhere. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Woman there,
Now, I'm trying to quit watching my life.
how you been?
Busy,
Well,
cold.
I won't say the cold's good, but I guess the alternative to busy would probably be worse.
Yes.
That's a very fresh, that is a very fresh, very good donut.
Are you done with these?
Yeah, you can hold on to those, good day.
So was it America that brought the donuts? Was it America? No.
I think it was the guy from USI Bridge. They hold our like $100,000, multi-$100,000 bridge contracts, so.
Well, they're actually kind of approved by the state, for the most part,
Yeah.
as one of the people who can do the bridge inspections. And we end up with them. But everything I've seen, they do a great job. I have no idea who Jack is, but he makes really good first
I thought you did pretty good. Who, did anyone get that one with the, I need a hole in my head.
What do you need?
I ate one of them big ones. I don't know, we don't eat this crap.
Typical still, if you don't, not really.
Looks to me like there's one with Oreo cookies.
I know, that's the one I'm
Is
going
that the one
at.
you eyeballing?
Yep. If it's full of like jelly, it's going in the trash can, okay?
I'm not a guy that likes filling in my donuts either. Success?
So far, so good.
That's what I.
Howard, you got the one with the nuts on it, didn't you?
Mine is like a Mr. Goodbar donut.
Need more?
No, I'm not, I'm just,
No, I just have to have one.
Maybe.
that'd be a great hand cleaner. Thank you.
All right, we ready to go?
Yes, let's go ahead and continue the meeting on.
All right. Tara, if you'd like to come up. So we had a question about the health board meeting the other night about setting policies for performance reviews, the cell phone policy and all, et cetera. And John looked it up. Could you read to her the statute? Because we felt like it wasn't in line with the employee handbook.
Okay.
So,
Well, obviously, the local health department, you enforce state health rules and regulations. But the statute 1620-1-2 basically indicates local health departments shall operate as an agency of local government administratively responsible to the appropriate county or city executive. We can all agree on that. 3, subsection 3, which is 16-20-1-3, Board of Health The board of each local health department may adopt procedural rules for the board's guidance and to establish administrative and personnel policies of the local health department that are consistent with the administrative operating policy of the appointing authority. Since the commissioners in Ripley County are the appointing authority, I think the concern is there anything where you guys are gonna have your policies deviating away from what the county handbook and policies are? Because I think they don't have to be like identical, but they do need to be consistent with. So I think that's the concern that.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Because
So-
I remember before you got here, Dr. Carly Robinson and Dr. Steve Stein, they both went through and revised, I guess, the employee handbook and the policies, and made it pretty much, I think, consistent with the existing county employee handbook. So I guess there's just a thought, is there anything where you guys are gonna take that in a different direction than where they had it?
So the way I draft them all, and if I'd known, I would have brought you the copies of what we discussed, but they basically say that they're not to conflict with the employee handbook. So I do reference the employee handbook. So like we discussed, just for one example, was the GPS for the cell phone. At the county level, that's not required. But the county does have different disciplinary groups and what to do with those disciplines. So in that policy, it did reference the employee handbook, but we did create an additional requirement that if you're off-site and you're working for the health department, you'll turn the GPS on, it would be a Group 1 offense under the way the county employee handbook is. With the evaluations, it did state that they should not be interpreted to conflict with the employee handbook. I did follow the kind of the evaluation, the way it puts it in the county's handbook, the way evaluations are, but it just breaks it down to make it more, to give it, I guess, steps. And then in the county's book, they can appeal to the commissioners and it's informal, but then we would have our own internal formal way to appeal in the health department. So I don't believe anything that has been drafted is in conflict with the county's handbook. I can do more. I could put in each policy, I could put a disclaimer, nothing in this policy is to conflict with the employee handbook, if that would alleviate any fears.
I think that might be a workable solution to basically, because if it is inconsistent with it, then maybe.
I don't see anything that's inconsistent with the county handbook that she just referred to.
If you would
Because
like,
there's no, and take that a step further, like the GPS thing, I mean, Jason Edwards has policies over there about what people can and can't do that we probably don't know. We don't know what a attendance policy is for every office. It just sounds like there's more of a process,
More detail?
a more detailed process, and
if you would like before I submit I can certainly bring what was discussed last night. I can provide that to you, and going forward, I don't know, Mr. Earl, do you want to look at them before I present them to make sure they're not in conflict? I don't know,
I think to be the guy who's looking at it, that could be a very subjective opinion.
Exactly.
Okay.
I just
I mean,
don't,
I can
Let the commissioners have
I can email anything to the commissioner.
I just don't want to
you
make
have.
sure I don't want to go down the path where we're going to have a different set of rules for this group and a different set of rules for this group when we work in the same building, if we can keep
Yeah.
from it. So, I just think we need to maintain some consistency with
Okay.
what the handbook
I
says.
don't-
And if it is a good idea, a good policy, then we should maybe change the handbook to make that same situation countywide.
They did ask me to go talk to the other departments to see how they do evaluations, how they do appeals. So I did, there are things I've already asked how they do, but there's everybody's different. So it's
Well,
really hard to compare apples and oranges.
I think the health department needs to have a clear policy as to how employees make complaints. Because there's 3 levels of government. It's you, it's Dr. Welsh, it's the health board, and us. And every time someone disagrees with someone, they offset the board, they offset you, and they come to us. And I have an issue fundamentally throughout the whole county on employees not going through that process, when the handbook clearly has a process that says what you need to do. So if that process can even be better, if it's different than what the handbook is, I believe it needs to be there. You know, in the real business world, you do not go over your boss's head to go to the VP of sales because you disagree with the policy that your boss is telling you to do, or they show you this thing called the door. Okay? If you can't sit down with your employee or your boss and have a real conversation about how you disagree with somebody. So I commend you on putting this together. I've been here long enough to see that if you open up this can of worms, you might as well just get rid of middle management and have the county commissioners just manage every office in this county. I don't think I was elected to do that, but we could save the county taxpayers a lot of money by getting rid of department heads, but I'm no expert in EMA, dispatch, health department.
Exactly.
Or highway garage. So I think as long as we know what these policies are, and we can agree that they don't conflict with that, I think having further policy and holding employees accountable, that's more than our handbook, I think is a great thing, because I don't care who you are or what you do here, you work for the taxpayers of this county, and you should be doing your due diligence to make sure the taxpayers are getting their money's worth.
Yeah.
I get held accountable every 4 years. Please vote Mark Horstman for County Commissioner 2026.
So all the policies that you talked about the other night, you can send them to us, so we can just
Yes, I
review
can
them?
go print them right now, and.
Okay, that's fine.
Would you want to print it or emailed?
Do you want a printed copy?
I
or-
can
I'd like
print
a
'em.
printed copy.
Okay,
Yeah, you might
I'll
as
go
well
print 'em
do a
and
printed
bring
copy
'em over.
for all three of us,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
And I think like if the health board approves them, then I think they just,
Okay,
I think it would have to be approved by health board, but I think there needs to be a level of,
just review to make sure.
yeah,
they
just
are
to
not-
make sure that we don't feel it is overstepping those boundaries.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that they are not the ones that should not approve them, but I just think maybe they need to understand that they need to be consistent with what we're doing to
Yeah.
make sure we don't have any issues.
Okay.
Is what I don't
Yeah.
want is them, if you guys have your own handbook and be like, because that had happened in the past.
Right.
Like, no, we're,
They
we
still-
were reprimanding an
they still
employee
do
over
get-
there as a commissioner, and we had to figure out which handbook to use.
They still do get the Ripley County Employee Handbook upon being hired, and it is available electronically on the employee portal, so,
Tara, before you got here, there was a fairly substantial gap between a lot of like the employee benefits and the days off, and comp time, and things that weren't on par with the county, so.
okay.
Just, I think, nobody wants to see it go back to that.
Mr. Erdl, would you like copies as well?
You can email me one.
Okay, I'll email you.
I
Okay.
won't make you cut a tree.
One did not, do you want the one that they are, I can print off the dress code one, it did not pass, but if you want to, I'll go ahead and send it to you, because it's not a dead issue, it just needs some revision, so.
You're addressing some of these issues here. Is there issues in your department that's needing to be corrected, or?
I think I guess it's the carrot and the stick, so I think discipline, I think there's just the natural tendency to, it's resistance to change, and these human nature that I don't fault an individual person, I think it's just human nature, but there's resistance to change, feelings that I'm new, they've been here longer, and it's not everybody, but I think it's just to the point where it needed to be escalated. And I do think as a health board, we needed policies and we need like a manual. In the past, it had just been, kind of talked about in session or maybe even voted on, but there was never any, like what we have at the county level, the employee handbook, we just didn't have anything that kind of kept records of all of this. So my goal is there are going to become other policies aside from employees and evaluations and discipline and things like that. I am going to branch into policies on just how we regulate. This is just the beginning because it was the most, I guess, urgent need. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I'll ask you this question too, are the people that's working under you keeping the public happy?
Most of the time.
I mean, I understand there's to where you got to put red flags up and stuff like that, but are they getting there, doing their job like they should, taking care of our public?
Is this, like, this is
I'm not
intended to
pointing
be an
any-
open session question? I just want to make
I'm not pointing
sure.
at any fingers or anything, I'm not just saying in general.
Okay.
Well, I
There
just
has-
don't,
there-
now, let's back up here a
I
minute.
don't think we should ask the
Yeah,
question.
no, I don't think that should be answered here.
If, I will say, if
Unless
you
can
have
answer very
specific,
general.
Yeah.
yes,
Well, I'm
if
just
you have
asking for general.
specific questions, my door is always open. I will say most of the time, yes, most employees are doing a fabulous job. There are, just in general, there has been some concern that has necessitated for me the feeling like the health board does need to come together to create policies.
Okay,
Is that general?
that's
Or
fine.
if you have specific questions.
I'm sitting here with the thought process is that when we hired you, this is what we asked you to do. Hold your
I
employees
hope-
accountable.
I hope the-
Make sure that things are doing it. And I'll be honest, with you, I've not had a complaint since Paul was there, and I really would like Paul. I've not had a complaint. When I say a complaint, not from an employee, from the public. I've not had a complaint from the public in a long time out of that department.
Okay.
Haven't had any complaints from employees. I think it should be that way too. So,
I hope with the new policy that you won't have those because we will have our own internal process to handle. those.
yeah, I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it a policy. I'd call it a process. And honestly, I would challenge everybody in this county to make sure that you have a formal process. So that way, when somebody does get let go, there's a paper trail, or somebody does quit, the business world does it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been in situations here where we've had to settle situations because people didn't really,
Well, but you got to keep in mind, you say the business world does it, but we are the business of the county. So we have to maintain the same consistency across
Yeah.
the county. You can't have this guy doing this thing and this guy doing another thing. I mean, that's when you have issues.
And I will,
I can challenge you on that the elected officials' offices, I don't know how you can dictate how they hire and fire, as long as it's within the handbook.
But all their employees are held to the same standards of everybody else in the county.
I don't think that's true, Roger.
That
That-
should be.
I don't
I
disagree
mean,
with you.
the employee handbook is their guide
Yeah.
to work here.
But like, we don't know what we don't know what
Okay.
Shauna's attendance policy is. If someone shows up late 4 times, do they get written up? Or is it just say, you're a good employee, but the office across the hall could say, you're late one more time, you're fired?
That's
We
why
don't
it's-
have those policies.
I will say one of the reasons, it's not the only reason, but one of the reasons the dress code got pushed back was because the way other departments have different standards. So maybe that means I need to ask you guys about a county level dress code policy.
Maybe that's what we need to put in place, because, I mean, it's really bad for somebody, like you said, across the hall, coming in late all the time and never have any repercussions, and this person over here get fired because they was late 3 times in 6 months. So then, to me, that's not acceptable. I mean, everybody should be held to the same standard. So that's why I felt like if you're putting a policy or procedure in place to manage your people that's a little inconsistent with the employee handbook, maybe we should be aware of it so we can potentially put it in the handbook for everybody to follow. It's not that I don't want you following or setting up a good workplace and with good accountability. Maybe we need to adopt it countywide. Is kind of where I
And I
was
think the
going.
step of us knowing what these policies
Exactly.
are is a good
Okay.
good start.
I will go print them.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I have no
I don't know
further
if you heard I did get the invoice, so the highway department was gonna check he finished grinding the stumps, so he's gonna go check and let me know it was good to go. And then he was gonna go ahead and get started on it.
Okay,
Anything else for the health department?
that's all I have.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sheriff. So Darren Wood was wanting to ask us about the generator. I know he's not on the agenda, but he looked like he just got a phone call. Do we want to give him a couple minutes, or do you want to talk to him today? Or remember, wasn't you out there when he asked us about the permits for the generators through RMC? I think we was all out there one day when he talked.
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, just in a short conversation, if we want to hang out, did you want to talk about this letter from Tad?
Yes. Yes, I got, both you got them. John, do you need one?
I would say,
You still got a copy?
I don't have,
you haven't, you don't need it?
I've already read it.
Okay. I just think we need to have a conversation with the appointee about how we felt, how it was felt like the rules were broken. And that if it happens again, then we might have to take further action.
I think that's a
Yeah.
good approach, but, yeah, it's like I said to Jeff, I mean, that, I'm not saying it, I'm just saying that's a hearsay, he said, she said type situation. We don't really have any
Yeah.
proof that that was said.
In defense to that this whole situation, it was prior to him even coming in, and there was a lot of buzz around town about tit for tat, whether it was person A, person B, agency A, agency B, supplying proper information. And I really have a hard time taking an individual that has got onto a board that has probably done as much work and research and questioning things than the rest of the board.
Right.
So for me to sit here and say, it's like, okay, rein it in a little bit and say, make sure you understand these processes and procedures. Maybe everybody on that board needs to sign a document knowing what the process and procedures, saying that they read it. Like, I don't think those processes have been put in place. It's, here's a document, read it, is not a training session, in my opinion. Here's how you handle things in public meetings is not, so.
I was under understanding you had prior, he's kind of done this job before a little bit. He's been involved with this type of, with the planning commission stuff.
I don't know if he ever did in our county.
No, not in our county, no.
Yeah.
I said Dearborn County.
Yeah.
But I would like to set up an executive session and talk to him and ask him if he did say it. Because we didn't put him there to try to knock people out.
Put him there to hold people accountable.
That ain't.
I have a
That
feeling,
ain't holding somebody.
I'm going to say this as I believe it. I believe this document here is in repercussions of somebody questioning somebody whether they're doing their job or not. I'm going to say it out loud.
That's the way I felt.
I take this as retribution from Planning and Zoning Department saying that, yep, I'm going to be held accountable, so I'm going to retire, so here, I'm going to hold somebody accountable.
That's kind of the way
That's how I'm seeing it, Jeff. I understand the relationship. I apologize to be blunt, but I'm
Before
not.
that even was discussed, I had knowledge of that happening.
But I also have knowledge that we're going to get a lawsuit on either decision that is made on this process because our Planning and Zoning Department did not follow all the way through processes and procedures. Whether it's
That's
for
fine.
or
You need
against.
the warning is all I got to say.
I'll give you that warning, you can give him the warning, we can all give him the warning that you do not
He
make decisions
represents
in
the
planning.
commissioners.
He
That's how
does.
I look at it. That's who we appointed him.
There is a statute that basically says, as far as Board of Zoning Appeals members go, they're not supposed to have communications with for or against situations. They're supposed to basically hear it
Yeah.
at the time.
But this is something that's been going on in this county for a year. And if anyone in this county and the town of Versailles does not know what is going on in this situation, then you probably shouldn't be sitting on a board because you don't know what's going on. I've received phone calls about this permit for over a year. Maybe not a year, but pushing a year, about processes and procedures and things not being followed. And it's been a headache for me as much as an elected official that doesn't have a say in any of this.
There actually would have been the original permit, which went away. Then there was the second application. This one involves the second application.
But like I said, in anyone's defense, if you've been around town, someone's going to get knowledge and information upon it. I'm fine with saying there are rules. Please read the documents that were in the email that you sent us. Here's the rules. Even if we have an executive meeting and we do pull him off and he contested, it still goes to the judges. So it's a lot easier to say,
Straighten up.
straighten up,
Follow the rules.
don't cause us any problems, and I think you appoint people to boards and hope that they maybe stir the pot a little bit, or maybe get involved in a little bit, and question things. I don't see an issue with that. So,
I'm fine, I said my piece.
okay.
Hope he heard it.
I'll call him and tell him. I don't care. I mean, I clearly, if conversations like that were to be done, and there's protocol in the BZA that you have to, like, we don't want people calling BZA members up trying to, in the public. When I went through solar, that's not how you do that stuff. I know that. So, anyways, that's that. Any other topics of discussion?
Nope, I guess Darren didn't come back in, so we'll
Shoot.
move on.
Auditor's office? Is there anything?
Is he still out there at all?
I haven't seen him wondering.
No, please.
Yeah, just
So-
if you want to check, I mean, he could be.
Did you write down who you got? We can decide who to call.
I have
Well,
five.
let's wait till after the
Okay.
meeting. This
Okay.
it shouldn't be public.
Okay.
Oh, we did set the date.
What is that date? I didn't get to write
It's-
that down.
1/27 at 6 PM.
I think at 5:30.
Nope.
Dr. Welsh, has he ever contacted you
So what,
to set up a meeting that he was supposed to do?
He never did. Do we still want to have a meeting? right?
He was supposed to have a discussion with us on what was actually going to happen.
Nope, go on.
I'll get with Jason Smith and them again. I was going through around right before the holidays, I think it was, back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I don't want to lose sight of that because it's been going on way too long.
yes.
Yep. I'd just like to hear the total game plan, what they got, if we're okay with it or not. So I thought that's what was
Well, hopefully some
supposed
of
to
the
be talked about.
conversation today gets the health board a little stirred up to where they understand we're on top of things. So Jason Smith is watching this. Please make sure that we get something scheduled with Dr. Welch and have a plan going forward. So,
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm looking.
check it.
Check the fine print.
I tell him, I said, get your little notepad out.
Better make sure there ain't nothing underneath there. I have down to talk about the town ordinances, but that's not, it's in procedure yet, so we'll wait.
So I saw those emails on that, and I'm just going to ask this out of general conversation. If a town is asking for them to have a certain procedure written for their own town and their own jurisdiction, why are we concerned about that?
Couple of reasons. One, they want to make the county responsible for their.
They pay for that. If someone files a complaint, their attorney is the one that holds that ordinance accountable, not the county attorney, not the county.
They're coming back to seek that money from the county, though. If there's an error in enforcement on the part of the county, they want attorney fees paid for by the county. And there's a number of administrative procedures that have to be gone through first before it would ever come to that, typically. And I can't find any statutory authority for that. Number two, in what Tech Review sent out was basically would indicate there's a certain finite group,
Thank you.
I guess,
Thank
of
you.
properties that this would likely apply to, but not all of them. But yet, if they want to know where permits can or cannot be, okay, so let's assume the way it's written. First floor, multi-use structure buildings in like these business areas and stuff, can't be a, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't be a residential dwelling, can't be used for residence. How's one supposed to determine it? And they also want that to be a non-conforming use.
Are these passed?
If it sets vacant
Sell.
for 60 days or more, then it is, I'll wait till Tara's done, so you
Will do. Thank you. Sorry, John.
Okay, that's all right. Basically, they want to make that a non-conforming use, and that's just in certain areas. And of course, our rules and procedures basically say whether or not written notice should be given. And quite frankly, I'm sure the town of Milan, the town of Osgood, and the town of Versailles have a specific area or properties in mind where they want this to be enforced. If that's the case, then they really should be identifying those properties. And we've made suggestions, Tech Review made suggestions that it would probably be, that's probably being sent out the next day or two to them, to the effect of, maybe ought to create like a city center overlay, a historic district overlay, where this would apply. That way, then there's a layer that should go on the zone maps that basically say, if it's these properties, and somebody comes in and says, I want an electrical service upgrade, or I want a plumbing upgrade, I want to put in an extra commode for a residence, like, whoa. Otherwise, how do you know for sure what is or isn't? Or worse yet, things get bootlegged in with no permit, which is typically what happens. There's no way to really track and follow that very well. So what they want, I understand what they want. The question is getting it into a manner that it can actually be followed, tracked, enforced. And most zoning codes typically make a non-conforming use something that ceases for a period of 6 to 12 months. 60 days that's really short. I mean, if you have a furnace go bad, you may take that long just to get a part. Should that be the thing that causes you to lose non-conforming use, something that already existed? Plus what they're doing here, another reason why notice should be sent. Current permitted uses in LB, RB, and GB are basically going to be excluded if you're in this certain location. So you're making different uses applicable just based on your location, not the zone specifically. So since it's no longer really becoming a generally applicable law. And that's why written notice needs to be sent to the town, by the towns, by the applicants, if they want it put in our code. And their suggestion was put it in the code because it would make it easier to identify and enforce. Okay. Then notice needs to be sent. Because everybody should have an opportunity to voice their opinion in favor or against about whether or not that's...
They haven't done that at their town meetings?
No, I don't think so. My guess is it was published in the newspaper at best, and no offense.
But I mean, it should have been, in my opinion, the town council signed off on it. Did they not discuss that at their council meetings?
I don't know what they did for sure at their town council meeting, but typically on town, there's 2 readings a lot of times.
Yeah.
A first and a second reading. But that only applies if you show up at the meeting,
Well, it's no different if anyone shows up at planning and zoning. Are you saying that the people that
Planning-
live on the square should be notified that are in that specific area? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
if it's specifically going to affect that piece of property, they ought to be given written notice, especially since they're making it way more restrictive than what typical norms are.
And is that a part of Tech Review's response back to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't disagree with that. I just want to make sure, because there's clearly a distinction, and planning and zoning lives in 2 worlds in this county, in my perspective, okay? And I think that they should be treated differently, in my perspective. You have the towns, and you have county territory. I believe people in a county territory, things should be a lot more lax than a county territory. I'm not going to tell a farmer they can't park their tractor in their front yard even though their neighbor thinks it's trash. Well, the farmer thinks he's that's his farm equipment, the neighbor thinks it's his trash. But in a town's a whole different story. You live in town, so that way your neighbor's mowing his grass and this and that. We don't go around telling people that they didn't mow their yard in the county territory, and I don't think we should. Maybe they mow it for hay, I don't know. But in the towns want that jurisdiction. There's a left and right side on how planning and zoning needs to, in my opinion, handle things.
Well, some towns don't allow for manufactured housing in their homes, or manufactured homes in their incorporated areas. And what they've done is they've sent copies of that ordinance to the planning commission office, and of course, Tad doesn't, or the building department, we don't issue permits for that. I sometimes wonder if anybody ever challenged it, if that doesn't violate HUD rules about the type of housing you have. Nonetheless, we try to honor it, you know. So on this, the only statutory authority out there as far as determining specifically what is the time limit for a use that becomes non-conforming to cause it to cease is actually under section 616 in the code, that basically says agricultural uses that end up becoming non-conforming as a result of a change in zone or whatever happens around them. Those don't become a non-conforming use unless they have ceased to exist or operate for a period of 3 out of 5 years. Now that's a lengthy time. And our code says a non-conforming use can continue as long as it's not, it hasn't ceased its use for a period of 12 consecutive months. So 60's pretty tight.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if somebody's used it as a rental for the last 30 years, they could have over 60 days to renovate. You know, they may say, hey, you know, it's been long enough, let's redo this.
That's what I'm saying. If they
Yeah.
really want this, then
Yeah.
I think people
Fire, anything.
People need to at least, people who own those properties, since they're very, in the grand scheme of things, among all the properties within the county, they're very limited and it's very identifiable. Those folks ought to get written notice, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I don't know, I'm just a
and then,
firm believer that can't the towns just, if it gets challenged in court, if it's, like, I understand there's things like that need to be fixed, like, people need to be notified, what are these areas, but like, if they want to put some asinine thing out there saying, that, you know, everybody has to have a pink mailbox or something, well, you live in town, you vote for that town council that put it in there.
well, and that's the thing I think everybody's got to be wary of. Everybody sees, it seems like it's not uncommon. Every governmental authority is probably guilty of it at one time or another. You hear of one issue, it becomes the issue of the day. The baby gets thrown out with the bathwater. But the bottom line is, if you make things too difficult on housing, too difficult on business, basically you can die on the vine. Who wants to come and invest in your community if you're going to have...
That's the way I look at it is that's their decision.
I agree.
From a county standpoint, the people that I represented in county territory, I think things should be a lot more relaxed.
Right, but what I somewhat have a problem with, if it's LB or general business, you have a house in LB, if it's not replaced, it's got to stay as housing. You can't do a business no more. The way they got it set up, am I correct?
Let's put it this way. It's, in our opinion, we kind of felt in tech review that it was subject to a couple different interpretations. And that's a bad thing to have in a law. And I understand,
Yeah.
that's their first go at trying to figure out how do we address this issue? And that's why I think it is better that they've sent it to us and we sent it back to them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we'll take Batesville, for example. Jeff Friend sent the copy. They have a city center overlay district, you know, that basically says, hey, in these areas, and they went ahead and made it part of their, I believe, part of their zone map. You know, this is what you can do on the first floor of these buildings, this is what you can't. But, you know, they went ahead and did that as an overall zone map change when they adopted their new ordinance. So there were numerous public hearings on that, so on and so forth.
Okay. So the process is where you guys are sending your tech review back, allowing them to respond and possibly.
Well, we're making
I was
suggestions
under-
of what needs to happen in order to make sure that if this is implemented, number one, there's no chance of any misinterpretation. Everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody knows the expectations. But as far as them charging the county for their attorney fees to enforce if a mistake is made in the planning commission office, there's no statutory authority that I can find.
There might not be, but they've had experience with that in the past, where I don't blame them for putting that in there.
They haven't actually had to spend attorney fees to enforce though.
So
It's always been covered administratively right here through the BZA appeal process. And like it or not, whether you think the planning commission has operated incorrectly or not correctly, we haven't had any decisions come back from any type of writ of certiorari that were negative against the planning commission or the BZA, I think, since about, the last two we had were two subdivisions that weren't approved, and they were back early on when I came on board as the attorney.
buzz around town that there might be some coming here real soon, so.
I'm not sure what it would be on.
We'll see.
You know, they've either been handled here or they've been dismissed. So, you know, and that's the thing, if a mistake is made, it just gets corrected.
Yeah.
But I understand emotions run high on zoning, and when people start talking about what they want to use their property for, and somebody next to them doesn't want it used for that, I've lived it myself.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was at a meeting last night about solar. Looks like Dearborn County is going to redistrict. There's a new solar ordinance out there I would like everybody in Ripley County to look at. Boone County, Indiana. Do we have are we ready to adjourn?
I guess. If
Yeah,
you're
I'll make a
done.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I think there's probably an initiative where Indiana's going to be pushing for nuclear.
That's fine.